A storyteller is the only one who has the gift to animate space and enliven time. Ranjit Radhakrishnan is one such storyteller who has brought Ian's old epic of Parashurama to present day readers. His two sequels, Rama of the Axe and The Blade of Fury, explore not only the spiritual side of Mahavishnu's sixth avatar but also the spiritual growth of a mortal who became a Chiranjeevi. Native of Kerala, Ranjit Radhakrishnan was fascinated with English literature and history from a young age. He studied commerce to enter the world of accountancy but ended up in visual media. He modeled for acts like Airtel and Jeevan Milk along with late actress Soundarya and gold winner with actress Shruti. He went on to act in the lead role in two Tamil TV serials, Chidambara Ragasyam and Devadai. He played character roles in Malayalam movies De Ingottu Nukio, Anwar, and Cocktail. He played a short appearance in Kannada movie Swati Muthu as Kicha Sudeep's grown-up son. Always industrious, no job was small for Ranjit. Even as a young boy, he earned his way through taking tuitions or working as a salesman. He has also worked as a toll manager at Nice Road, also as an event manager for Karnataka Bulldozers, a celebrity cricket league team. His first venture into the narrative literary world was through a short story titled Shakuni, the Dice of Death, in the anthology Unsung Whaler. He has also written a narrative poem, Tushara Swayamvaram, which was published in the anthology Arya. He then dwelled into the long version of Puranas through Parashurama and brought out two sequels that speak of intriguing narratives. The first sequel, Rama of the Axe, is a story everybody knew that made a firm entry into the emerging genre of Indian mythology literature. It was later translated to Kannada titled Amsha. The second sequel, The Blade of Fury, ventures into the intriguing narrative of a legend we did not know. The third sequel is in the making. Ranjit Radhakrishnan's sister Priya and her husband Kicha Sudeep, the iconic film star, have made great influences to his writings. Ranjit is married with one son. His wife works as a senior human resource manager. The enterprising author Ranjit Radhakrishnan is here with us today at Maadhyama Aneka Studios to share his literary world of epics and folklores in our podcast, Bench Talk. Hi, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I've never heard such a long introduction for me. And I love it that you started the intro with a quote from my book.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. And I'm so happy you guys have invited me.
Thank you so much, sir.
But I'm looking at the list of the questions and there's so much. So I don't know. Let's see. Let's see where it goes.
We are so happy to have you here. And we are very proud that the way you have bought the books about our Indian mythology, and it feels very happy and proud to say that you belong to us.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you said my origin was from Kerala, but my studies, everything happened in Bangalore. So if you guys will accept me, I'm Kannadiga only. I'm
yes,
5%
yes.
Mallu.
So, but you were born in...
I was born in Kerala.
Basically, your roots are from the God's own country, Kerala.
Yeah, God's own country is not just Kerala. No, that's only advertising slogan. God's own country, they have forgotten which God it is. It's Parashurama's own country. He's the one who brought it up from the sea.
Yeah.
So from Gokarna to Kanyakumari is God's own country.
God's own country.
Yeah.
So tell us more about your, origin, or how that has influenced you as being in that. It has its own variety of culture or anything. Yeah. How has that influenced you? And basically, how was your childhood with your parents and your young days?
Okay. Now, somewhere, if you look back, it seems inevitable now that I will end up writing these stories and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have such a rich treasure of stories that are handed down. And usually the storyteller for you is one of your grandmothers
Yes.
who will tell you all this. And especially she's the one who's going to be consoling you if you've done something naughty or your punishment and all that stuff. So there was a situation where my grandmother, the punishment was I had to stay back or something. Everybody else had gone out somewhere, and I was the only guy there. And as usual, because of the punishment, I most probably would have been crying or something. I was very young, and she told me a story. And the story she told me was of the Narasimha avatar, but she told it to me in a very different way, in the sense that she didn't tell me the whole story. She told me about the boon Hiranyakashipu asks, that I cannot be killed in daytime or at night, inside my house, outside my house, all those conditions. And he said, now figure out what did Bhagavan Vishnu do. And how you're like, he said, no, you find out, you take your time. And it's only the next day that she told me how this happened. And that story stuck with me, because even if like a lot of modern people think these are all myths, they use that word in a very negative sense. I don't see it that way. And these are all lies, exaggerations. Even if you're coming from that standpoint, look at the brilliant idea this author had, that he puts up a condition like this, finds loophole after loophole through which the demon can be killed. That is such a fantastic thing. And you in those times, I mean, I'm 50 years old now. So when you travel in Kerala, was only summer holidays, and it was not a very comfortable journey or anything. It was not. But once you get there, it's like you moved away from a city into a completely rural setting, and the pattern of life there is completely different. So you get up in the morning. There is a temple close by that you have to go to. Every evening, as soon as the sun sets, the deepam is on and you have to do namajapam. And in that hot climate, in summers only, we go there. There's no fan, electricity and all that. You have to sit and do it. It was compulsory that you have to do this. So somewhere, that insistence that you do it connects you back to the stories that you have heard. And why are you doing this? You do Namasmarana of Rama and Krishna and you don't know who these people are. Then you'll ask. Then the stories will come. But you don't have a Namasmarana for Parashurama, no? We don't pray to him usually at our homes. So we were totally unaware of... We know among the 10, Parashurama is the 6th. More than that, nothing happens. But we have a thing where if somebody passes away in your family, and you're the one who's responsible to do the rites and all that stuff. After a year of the passing, on that particular tithi or the nakshatra, there is a particular temple you have to go to. So now when I'm staying in Bangalore and I'm going down to Kerala every summer holiday, meeting my cousins and all that stuff, invariably different parts of Kerala we go to, and there's temple visits. I have not gone to a single Parashurama temple. I was in Trivandrum. I was staying there in Thiruvananthapuram for 2 years. So all those famous temples in and around, I have gone. There's a very famous Ganapati temple there. I think it's maintained by the army even today. I have gone there. Ananta Padmanabha Swami. The temple they call Women Shabarimala, no? Atugal. Because only women are allowed for that one festival, that one day festival. I've gone there on the non-festival day. So it's only when I went to do the last rites of people who have been passing away in my family. My dad died in 1999. And for the next 2.5 years, every 4-5 months there was a death in our family. And then we had elaborate pujas in order to stop this, because there was a lot of astrological things and all told. So I was going to this temple, and then I realized this is the first time I'm going to a Parashurama temple. And that temple is so unique that Parashurama stands facing the Vishnu in Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple. And you do the rites and come out, and then you say, I'm going back here so many times, but I don't know anything about the God I'm praying to. So somewhere that culture, I think, helped. And when I finally decided to write also, the reference book was Brahmanda Puran. And I didn't have an English copy, which I think was very lucky for me. It was a Malayalam copy. So somehow reading our story in our language has a different impact than reading in English. Though I'm an English author, I'm telling you, this has an effect that way,
Yes.
which is why I'm so happy that the first translation is Kannada,
Yeah.
and I want the next one to be Malayalam. It sort of makes the story belong to you, and you belong to the story. What else? What other influence is there? I think, since I'm so connected with the mythological stories, it's more the temple visits and all this that
Yeah.
comes to mind rather than anything else, not the movies and all that.
Yeah. So how was Ranjit in his school days? Like growing up academically?
Academically, everybody used to say you should study like him. That
Rank
was
student.
till 15, 16. After that, you should not be like him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were expected to be good in academics at that time, and I had a very good. I went to a very good school, Frank Anthony Public School, Cambridge Layout, and I had fantastic teachers. A lot of them were Anglo-Indians, and they brought fun to your school life. Actually, you can't. A lot of people I talk to, they think of their childhood and the school memories, and it's only their friends and what they did. The teachers are somehow not included unless you have a favorite teacher.
Yeah.
But for me, my memories are all of my teachers, because there were teachers, but they brought such a zest to. It was not a burden going to school or something of the sort. Absolutely fun loving, but they knew their job, and we had. And all of them were somehow characters in themselves. Some of my teachers were like, we still think back and, think of the stuff that they've said and done in school. And somehow, I remember in school, the first award, anything that I won in my life was for a painting of some ship or something of a sort. And they gave you a coupon.
Okay.
And said that, you can go to this bookstore and pick up whatever you want. So old timers in Bangalore will remember there was this premier bookshop. This was on Church Street.
Okay.
And there was a Mr. Shanbag there. Now, my dad is an avid reader. So is my mom. So anything new that came out, he used to have it. I grew up with books. Okay, so I remember in those days, we used to have Deccan, Herald, Hindu, English. Then you had Malayalam
Newspapers.
You had Kannada Prabha. Then you had the Week, Illustrated Weekly, India Today. All this will land up with Mallu magazines plus these books.
Yeah.
So this was, our home was filled with this only. So all the books that they tell you should not read, all those I've read at the ages where I'm not supposed to read only because my dad already had them. So you had to go pick up a book from this bookstore. That was the prize. So I landed up there, and since my father was accompanying me, Mr. Shanbag knew my dad very well. We were a regular customer. So I went in there, and the first time I'm choosing a book, and I don't know which one to book. And it's not very orderly and all. If you've ever visited that shop, it's just stacked everywhere. And he knows exactly where each book is. You're not going to find out. So then he led me to a section and said, see, what is this? And he said, shall I pick one book for you? And it was Mr. Shanbag who picked the first book that I read.
So can I know at what age you were?
I was in 5th, I think. So I should be, 9, 10?
10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he gave me a Nancy Drew book.
Okay.
It's called The Bungalow Mystery. And usually before that, you have read textbooks and maybe some comics and all that. So it was the first novel kind of thing that I've got. I think I still have it at home. It's still there. And since I've got it as a prize, now you have to read it. And I remember Nancy Drew was caught in the basement and the trapdoor wouldn't open and the current goes out and I can feel my heart thudding inside me. I never knew a book could do something like this. I thought, okay, movies are... I still don't watch horror movies because I can't stand and so if there's a very tense scene in the movie and all, I close my eyes or walk off as a kid. And this book is doing this to me. There's no visual and there's nothing, and a book is doing... that was the one pivotal
Major,
moment,
yeah,
when you thought
point.
literature can do something like this to you. So the first book I finished was Bungalow Mystery, and that's when my reading started.
Yes.
And I think that's because of the teachers we had in school,
Oh,
because
true.
my English literature teachers were fabulous. They actually encouraged you to read. If in the tests or something you gave your own answer, rather than they would actually sit and correct that answer, rather than this is not the answer I gave you, and all, they would actually value that. So that was a fantastic thing.
Yes.
And childhood, I grew up in Bangalore only. All my friends are from here, and we had wide open spaces which we don't get today. I really feel sad for my son. There were so many playgrounds. You could walk to places. I remember we used to walk from Indiranagar to Lido or Plaza, all those old theaters, watch the movie and walk back home. We didn't have to take the car or anything of the
Yes,
sort.
yes.
I'm so blessed that my childhood was in Bangalore.
Yeah.
During the
that
time Bangalore was Bangalore.
Yeah, but so when you're speaking, I can see a beautiful blend of the influence of literature as well as our roots, history.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful mix. And along with that, you have a strong influence of your parents who are good readers.
Yeah.
So you had this background and you were so interested and fascinated with literature. How did you enter commerce? And you did studies regarding CA as well.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that was a point where you thought this might be my profession, or academically we have to get a job.
Yeah.
So how did you enter commerce?
See, up to say 11th, 12th, this is the guy you should be, as a golden boy. Okay. After that, this is the black sheep. Never go near him. It became that way. So what happened? I have no idea. Maybe it is the hormones at that age, or no clue what happened. So complete confusion what to do.
Yeah.
And my dad had passed away by then. By 99. So this commerce was just, I had to do something. So did this. I passed my CA foundation. And I think it was during an audit that I was in Ahmedabad. I'd gone there for a bank audit or something of the sort. Corporation bank audit that he passed away. So come down and finish all this. And then after that, after my dad passed away, there was no interest in continuing this. I wanted to do something completely different, because continuing that seemed to be, till then, I mean, CA is supposed to be really tough and all, so it didn't look tough to me at all. But after his death, it suddenly became very, your head wouldn't stay there.
Yeah.
That's when this modeling and all the salesmanship and all that stuff started there. Both my dad and my mom, big influences on my life. My mom's was a teacher, mathematics. So you had to, maths has to be.
Good.
So I remember till 11th, 12th and all this stuff, when, I don't know whether I should say this publicly, because when she used to come back, 6th standard, 7th standard test papers, I used to correct for her. I'm sure the students still think it is my mom. But I used to finish my homework quickly and all this stuff. And she's like, you correct this paper, you know this, no? Yeah, you correct. So the treat was, she'll make me what I like. I correct the papers for her. So it's a secret. I don't know whether, if those students hear all this, I don't know whether
Sir,
they're going to
I
come
think
back.
this happens a lot.
Happens, huh?
Yeah.
Then I'm safe. And my dad was fantastic character. He was an amateur stage artist. There's this Kerala very famous arts group called the Kerala People's Arts Club, KPAC. He was part of that when he was in Kerala. Then he came down and he was associated with various clubs and all. So they had their own amateur drama troupes. Every year there was a
new play
that they put up for the members and all that. Very well read. He unfortunately couldn't finish his schooling because the circumstances. His dad passed away very early when he was 7 or 8, and he had to get to work immediately. There's nobody else to support the family. That's how he comes to Bangalore and all that stuff. But impeccable English, impeccable Kannada. He knew Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Hindi, English, Marathi, Telugu. I have no idea how he picked up Marathi, but he could speak it fluently.
Yeah.
And one of his friends used to tell me, you go on a journey with Radhakrishnan. You go out of Bangalore. Every town that you pass, he will tell you a story about that. So there is, he used to work for Nescafe on the sales stuff. And he says there's not one place in South India, whether it's a tier 3 town or a small hamlet, that he has not gone to. So, and he goes there, he picks up some story and comes back. So anywhere you travel with him, he will tell you a story about the place. He was enjoyed his life.
Yeah.
My mother was a very studious,
Teacher.
very librarian, strict maths teacher kind of thing. My dad was the correct opposite. But the love of literature was there in both of them.
Yeah.
My mom is still my first reader. Anything I write, first goes to her. Second is to my sister. I think both of us picked it up from our parents.
So the first one who corrects it is your mother.
My mom will tell, she won't correct and all, she'll tell me whether she liked it or not, or what she didn't like. If it is good, there's nothing. Is the means done. Go, pass 40 on 100.
Yeah. So then after all these choices that you made to study CA or anything, and then the focus came to visual media.
Yeah.
Where you faced a camera, you modeled,
Yeah.
and you as well as acted in a lead role in TV serials. Honestly, it is a big influence to huge population.
Yeah.
TV serials were like, it's a big source of entertainment, and they used to take it to their heart.
Yeah.
They used to consider it like it's their story. So how was it to play a lead role in Tamil TV serials?
Okay.
And how has it helped you in any way?
See, in everybody's life, there will be some moment which sort of changes your trajectory somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if I look back, it looks like a lot of stuff, such stuff has happened in my life. But there was an amateur English theatre group. I think it was called Curtain Call or something, and I was part of it. And we were doing Ibsen's play. We were practicing for it, and his name was Bhaskar, who was running the show. He was a photographer also at that time. And I don't think I think he's passed away. I'm not sure. Lost touch with him a long time back. So there was an offer for an ad, and he said, why don't you just go there anyway? You have this background where you've done a couple of plays. So I just went for the thing. They said, okay, do you have any pictures? And I said, no, I have what pictures? And he said, no, you're a model. We want to know. We have to know who you are. No? So that guy said, no, for the moment, we'll take a couple of pictures, but go get your portfolio shot. Guess who's my first photographer? Mr. Kicha Sudeep is my first photographer. He had his own camera.
So he did your portrait.
My first portfolio was done by Kicha Sudeep.
Oh.
So we stay in Banaswadi. There was no ring road and all that stuff that time. I think it had just come. And you had that railway line. So he used to come and tell me, take this. This is the costume change. Everything under his direction. The direction was there. And he used to get his camera. He used to shoot it. And then there was a particular way that he used to get it developed.
Okay.
And so everywhere I went and I gave this, I said, who did this for you? And they all expected some big names, and I said, no, it's him. So my first photo shoot, the direction, everything was done by Mr. Kicha Sudeep, and the costumes were done by my sister. So
great team.
It started from there, so there's no way it could go wrong.
Yes.
So I went and gave it to all the ad agencies here, and I started by doing a lot of these corporate stuff. No, it's not an ad, it's for their brochures and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember doing for some tractors and all this. That's where it started from. Or they'll have a company training program, so they shoot an AV. I think I did it for Britannia or some company. I did it here in Bangalore itself. I went to the factory and shot it. The safety protocols that should be followed in a factory. So you have two characters. One is both played by me. One who follows the rules,
one who doesn't,
and what happens to him. So this kind of stuff. The first major ad I did was, I think, for a tea brand. This was in Malayalam. The director was based in Bangalore, and he was shooting for a Malayalam thing. And because I was a Malayali, he took me for that because,
The language.
yeah, I remember the person who played my dad in that ad was, you remember this actor called Ashwath Old?
Yeah.
His son. I think Shankar Ashwath, no?
Shankar
yeah,
Ashwath,
yeah. So the first time I was meeting him, in Kerala I met him for this ad. We shot for a couple of days in my hometown, that is Alapi, with the houseboat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was some campaign where you were getting Marie biscuits with the coffee. Which brand I'm not getting. I think it's Red Label only. I'm not sure. So the pun was on the word Mari. In Malayalam, when you say Mario, it means have you changed? So something like that. A very funny thing. So that's what my first ad, and this is when Vodafone and Airtel and all these people were there, and that way I got a shoot for Airtel in Chennai. So that was the first time I was going to Chennai, and we were shooting the ad. This was still, there was not a video, and it was supposed to come out on all these ad placements that you have. You had these SIM card stores and all that, no? So this is where it would go, and we shot that. And that's when the guy who was doing the arrangement there, he said, "Sir, would you want to do a serial?" And I said, "I don't speak Tamil, I don't know." He said, "We're looking for a character like that." Completely out of the blue. So he said, "Okay, you do you have any photographs?" Oh, of course, the photographs are already there. So he said, "I'll get back to you. You'll have to come down from Bangalore." And it's not a daily soap, so it's weekly ones. So you can come, shoot and go back. It's not a big deal. And I said, "Yeah, okay, fine, not a problem." I didn't think much of it at all. So I shot the ad for Airtel. I think it's only after this that they had all these brand ambassadors come in for Airtel. I think for South or for Tamil Nadu, the brand ambassador then for Airtel was Madhavan. So this was before Madhavan came in. So then they called me for a screen test. They said, "Come down like this." This was maybe 4 months, 5 months after I gave the photographs and all that stuff. So I go back, I get on from the train, walk out of Chennai Central, and I can see all these streamers, and all of them have my face on it. I was like, oh, you didn't have a mobile camera or anything at that time. So I went to a shop and I said, "Give me that." And he's saying, "Why do you want the streamer?" I said, "Look, this same, please give it to me because this is not coming in Bangalore." So he said, "Sir, okay." So he gave me a big poster and he gave me 3-4 streamers and all that stuff. And with this, I went to the thing and I showed him, "See, I'm there." So they took a screen test and they said, "See, over the course of time, you have to learn Tamil. But you can start off in English only because you're playing a guy who's coming back to Tamil Nadu from America." So I said, "Yeah, fine." Took the screen test, went back home, and then they said, "Yeah, come, we're going to shoot with you." I said, "I don't know the story and nothing. You don't ask all that. You come, we'll see." I had a brilliant director. His name is Mr. Naga. So Sun TV was becoming Sun TV at that time, and one of the biggest factors for this was Mr. Naga, because Wednesday 8:30 p.m. was reserved for him. That time slot was his for the asking.
Prime time.
Yeah. So he had these big serials called Marma Desam, Vidada Karuppu, Ramani versus Ramani. He was a director for all of this, and this was going to be his first production, Chidambara Ragasyam. So what it was about is, you would have heard of this method of astrology called Nadi astrology. You go to Vaithiswaran temple in Tamil Nadu, they have these palm leaves, and you just give them a thumb impression. You don't tell them anything more, and then they will deduce your name, your father's name, your mother's name, your previous birth and all that stuff. And there are different types of nadis. This was one such. So the serial was about how the nadi leaves also contains a coded message for medicine. that can treat cancer and all that stuff. And it's so valuable that people have found out about the secret and who can decipher it. And there are murders happening for this. And I'm a guy who's born and brought up in the US, but has his roots in Chidambaram. He's coming back to his grandmother, his father's mother. And I get embroiled in this. I start off as a total disbeliever and how it goes. So, were wonderful, because the shooting of that serial itself was, I later on realized, was like shooting a movie, because it was not, a camera set. And I did that also with later serials and all I did. I would, the camera would be set up. I would be standing here. There would be like 5 people standing there. This is your father. This is your mother. Look here. This is address your father. Look here. Address. That never happened with him.
Yeah.
So he would have trolley shots. He would take one dialogue, 3 different ways. He would change the dialogue at the last moment and do this. And I didn't know Tamil. I used to struggle so much, but it was a great learning experience because of that. So usually people, because the episodes come every day, they shoot so fast because they have to cover that episode. He would take 1 week for one episode. 25 minutes is the episode he will take, because he will make you do it till he gets. So that was a good place to start. And a fabulous man, very learned. I think he came from he worked with K. Balachandar. He came from that. And the second serial also was started off by another person who worked with K. Balachandar, whose name was Bombay Santanam. I think that was Devaday. Came later only. That was a daily serial. So this is how I ended up in Chennai. So I had to shift from here. Not married and all. So my mom was alone here. I used to go. When shooting was done, I used to come back. So I rented out a place there and all. And I stayed. And then once you go there, then this ambition starts. No? Serial, you're full hero and all of that. Why don't you do movies? And at that age, there's nobody to. And here, my brother-in-law is already a hero here. So I'm there. I said, no, why can't I also try? He introduced me to a lot of people and all that time. But the problem then was, if you've gone into serials, they don't want you in the movies. Okay, and I used to give his example only and said what he did. No, he said, sir, that maybe you take a gap of 2 years, let people forget you. So, but Chidambara Rahasam, everybody knows, because everybody looks forward to his serial. So I remember going for a screen test for a director who was launching his daughter, and they wanted a new hero also. So I did all the screen tests. Finally, I was meeting this director. That itself was a big thing. And he very plainly told me, sir, neenga makkaloda living room ku poittinga. Wednesday, because his receptionist saw me and said, hey, you're Akash from Chidambaram. And I said, okay, fine. So, he said, Budhan Kalame, 8:30, they are going to see you on TV. Friday, who is going to come to the theatre to see you? Because they know next week you're coming again. I said, sir, what is that? He said, no, I'm sorry, I can't. That went to somebody else. That was a launch of his daughter's career there. So it didn't work out in Tamil at all. So I continued with serial only. And one of the hit serials in Tamil, I think it was called Olangal. I think it was called that. It was a big hit there. They wanted to remake it in Malayalam. And since I was a Malayali, they said, you come. Anyway, we know what we can do. Let's go to Trivandrum and shoot. And that's where the next twist happens in the life. Because I go there and I shoot. First 2 days is fab. Everything's happening. And I said, okay, next week we're going to this hill station. We're shooting there. And I'm like, chalo. Third day, I collapsed on the set. And because I was running fever from the second day, and I thought this was just maybe viral or something. We went to some mission hospital there, and he said it's viral. He gave me an injection, gave me I don't know, Dolo, paracetamol, something. I go back to the set the next day, and I can't stop sweating. And he's saying, your costume, I can see the sweat. What's happening? And he said, no, you know what? We won't shoot you today. You just go take a rest. Go back to the hotel, and Then suddenly they realize that, I have not eaten the food. The set food comes, they keep it outside the room. I have not eaten. My cousin stays in Trivandrum, so they called him, and he came, looked, and he said, I can't even stand. And they rushed me to hospital, KIMS, Kerala Institute of Medical Science or something like that, and put me straight into the ICU. I was in the ICU for, I think, around 10 days. I was there, and they just could not diagnose what went wrong. So they tested everything, and then call came to Bangalore, and Priya and my mom flew down because they said, if there's a sibling, please ask the sibling to come because we need to do a bone marrow transplant. And what is the reason? They don't know. And they're pumping me with blood platelets because the platelet count is dropping. I think there's a level below which you should not go because then you start to bleed out of your pores. And this was very, very close to that. And despite how much they do, this is just coming down. And to my luck, I remember, I have to tell you this. It's my mom and my sister sitting outside the ICU, and I am there, and I can see like 4 people there. Whenever I'm conscious, I can see. And then right next to me is a very, very old man. And I don't know whether it's day or night, or I've been stuck there only. And suddenly this man starts to moan and groan and all that stuff. And he's in tremendous pain. And the doctor comes and they draw the curtains and all that stuff. And I don't know what happened. After that, everything went silent. Then I can see him being rolled away. Now what's happened is outside there's nobody else except my mother and my sister. That attendant has taken that man's dead body. He's covered his face. He's gone out and he was called for something. So while they were sitting there, he's put the dead body in front, looked at them, and he's just walked off. And my mother, imagine in that situation, my sister ran into the ICU, and she knows which bed mine was. She came in, she saw me, and she ran out and said, "It's not him, it's not him, it's somebody else." I got to know only later. Horrible for them it was. Luckily, there was a doctor who remembered that, a year back, there was a guy who came from Bengal. I still remember the name of that guy because he told me his name was Prince.
Okay.
And he got admitted and he died of one particular thing. I said, we didn't know till the postmortem or whatever was done. He said, you haven't checked for that? Check. So the last check they did was for cerebral malaria. And that turned out to be the one that they were missing. They did everything else. Ordinary malaria, or kleptospirosis, something, all those names. You had something else, chikungunya and all that stuff. They checked everything. So it's because of Prince that I'm still alive today, because that doctor who remembered this case. And then after that, I had like a fistful of tablets to have. Luckily, 2 days later, I was shifted to a ward. And I was there for maybe another 2 weeks, and then I was sent back to Bangalore. And during this time, the serial, there's no way you can continue when you're, and he's saying you need another 3-4 months of recovery. Because I had lost weight. I was like just skin and bones. So I come back to Bangalore, and all those serials and all that stuff go. Somehow this weekly ones, they changed the story and they continued, because there were 2 heroes in this. They continued with the other heroes thing. And he said, Ranjit, I held on for so long. Now if you don't come back. So I had to go to Chennai and finish that serial with however I was managed. And the serial I came to shoot for, they shot with somebody else. That continued. And since I had come there, those 2, I went and met him and all later, and then that's how the whole serial thing stopped. And to get back when you were so busy, because you were shooting like almost 25 days in a month you were shooting, because you had to finish this stuff, to suddenly having nothing. You don't know anywhere. I go, sir, நீங்க அந்த serial இருந்தீங்க, but what happened? So you tell them this was this, you show them enough medical records. Usually the industry is like that. We don't know what if this is something. There's that they want to avoid the risk, that's how the serial thing stopped. But one of my cousins was related to one of the directors in Malayalam,
Malayalam.
Mr. Balachandra Menon, and he was starting a new movie,
Hmm.
and so I went and met him and all that. And with all the offices that I'd gone and visited in Tamil Nadu, finally I got one serial, and they said they were going to shoot in Coimbatore, Palakkad.
Hmm.
I said, cool. And then I got through in this movie. He said, you're playing the hero's friend and all that. I said, yeah, fine, whatever. At least Malayalam, no. We'll see what's happening. The Tamil anyway didn't work. So actually, before all this, while I was doing the modeling thing and all that, I did 2 movies in Kannada, actually.
Oh.
One was this movie called Chandu with Kicha Sudeep and Sonia Agarwal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the guy he suspects Sonia Agarwal is in love with. He's coming to beat me up and all that. Then luckily it didn't happen. So that was one.
Okay.
And the second one was Swati Muthu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I play Kicha Sudeep's son in the second son.
Yeah.
So that was a good experience.
Yeah.
And that was, during modeling, I said, there is a small role, you want to do this, you can do it. So I shoot for 3-4 days. That's it. When I started off that movie, I remember the shoot is like starting day after, and my portion, the movie's already started, and they called me on set and said, come immediately, something. I thought, okay, there was a shoot or something, go to the location outside Trivandrum again somewhere.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what, you don't look like a gunda. So we have to make you look like a gunda. So you crop your hair and, shave your mush. I didn't have the beard and all that. And I said, oh, okay, what? Yeah, we're shooting tomorrow with you. And if you're willing to do this, you have the role, otherwise no. And I was like, hey, crap. No, I called the guy with the serial. He said, sir, we'll adjust all the dates for you, but we can't adjust the look. You have to be like this. We can't have you look like that. Yeah. So now you choose, because next week we are starting the shoot of that. No, you choose now which one, and let us know in half an hour. So I said, sir, know what to do now. This is Balachandra Menon, his movie and all. He said, okay, so boss, I understood. No problem. You continue. Go there. And that was that movie. They go to look here. Says, hey, look here. Okay, that's what it means.
Okay.
And I remember we shot for all that, and this movie was coming out. And since it's my first Malayalam movie and all, me, my mom, my sister, we go from here to Sanvi was also there, I think. We go to Kerala we go to my hometown to see
watch the
movie. So it's a very famous theater in Alapi. And we go there. I mean, maybe we not get tickets. The crowd, we don't know. No, you go there, the whole thing is empty. Go and buy the tickets. And my family members were there. Maybe we were around 8 people. So out of 15 people, 8 was my family. Okay, and we sat and saw the movie. And my mother is very straightforward when it comes to stuff. Okay, she doesn't. She doesn't even dilute stuff. She'll give it to you on your face. So if it is bad, then it's bad. Okay, so 25 minutes into the movie, my mother said, this is a flop movie. I'm like, Mom. So that movie ran for like 3 days. Then through the people that you know in the movie, you go and meet other people, and that's how Cocktail happened. Cocktail was with Fahad Fasil and also in the first phase. It was a remake of this English movie called Butterfly on a Wheel. Pierce Brosnan, I think. That was pretty okay. Then I did this movie called Anwar. That was with Prithviraj and Prakash Raj and all that stuff. But a lot of it went in the montage kind of shots. My dialogues didn't make it to the final cut. So the same team, the same director, they made another movie called, I think it was called Bachelor Party or something like that. And in Anwar, I was playing some kind of cop role only. This one also, I was a cop. I said, is there going to be something in this? He said, yeah, you have a lot of choice. I said, last time all the dialogues came off as a montage and all that stuff. So no, you come anyway. It's the second time you're working with him. Come. And again, this time I'm in a cop uniform and all that. and multiple heroes in the movie. And we're going to start shooting with a action sequence. And the first day of shoot, I remember we started at 7:30 or something. By 11:30, there was a shot where I'm shot dead. Okay, I got shot dead. The next 5 days, I played a dead body. And I said, I had enough of movies after this. I'm burying my career also here. So we were shooting in some Cochin University campus or something. So my career is still buried there only. I have not got back. I got so, and then hot sun, I'm just lying down in the cop uniform with this fake blood. 5 days, when you're lying down there, you're pondering life. And ಏನಾಯ್ತು ನಮ್ ಕಥೆ ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, you are like, I don't want this industry anymore. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Out.
Yes. So I felt like I was reading a book right now.
Yeah.
You know, the
That
whole journey of you entering to serial industry and then the movies.
Yeah.
So actually you worked in the Kannada film even before...
When I was doing the modeling thing,
Modeling.
that's when these movies were being shot in Bangalore.
So actually the first film you shot was Kannada.
Was Kannada.
Yeah.
Chandu.
Chandu. Yeah. And if I imagine that phase of your life where you were hospitalized and everything, it really feels very, it feels like a movie.
See, sometimes in life something happens that everything changes. 180-degree turn, but the problem with my life, it is not 180 to 90, then 270, then 360. It goes where I have no idea, and it keeps coming.
Yes.
So you just go with the flow.
So the pull of camera, lights and everything that happened, and then you buried the career there in the university.
Yeah, in the university, it's still there.
It's still there. How did you enter the university of books where you decided that I can write something down, put your thoughts, your imagination into words? Because I believe it is a great boon to be a writer. Because being a character or anything is different, but to imagine something and put it into words is something, it's a big blessing.
Okay, it's probably started a long time back because of the teachers I told you.
Yeah, of course.
So they used to look forward to the essays that they used to give, composition.
Yeah.
So it started from there. And I used to write speeches for my dad. So he was club president and all that stuff, and people used to look forward to what he speaks because he knows so much. So he used to come home and tell me, see, I want to say all this, you write for me. And I used to write for him. So then he'll go and speak, and then they'll say, Radhakrishnan, what a speech. He said, no, my son wrote it. So then I would write for some other people. So that used to
It was always
happen.
there. Yeah.
And sometimes my sister will ask me, can you write this for me or something, and I'll write it for her. And throughout this entire period, the constant companions have been books only.
Yeah.
Because I never stopped reading. It's just that the taste in books changed. And from action, it went to fantasy, or it went to self-help, stuff like that. You try to read as much as you can, as varied as you can, even authors that most people may not recognize today.
Yeah.
So this thing of writing came, I think, when this COVID and lockdown and all that stuff was happening. I saw a tweet that said that, you know what, we are going to select short stories that you have to write based on these characters we're listing down. All the characters are from the Mahabharata. But the condition here is there is an 18-day Kurukshetra war. This character's life in one day of that 18 days war.
Okay.
And they have this list of Pandavas and they have a list of Kauravas. So it seemed interesting. And there's a lot of misconception about how that war happened, what the details of the war are. And there was this thread about what happened in each day of the war. Very informative. So I looked at it and I said, okay, Pandavas mostly everybody will pick. You go to Kauravas and Duryodhana, Karna and all, very popular. So Shakuni nobody will write about. So we'll pick Shakuni. He's a very cunning character also. Let's go there. But the funny thing is, this Shakuni, usually when we say he's a very cunning person, all this stuff, we don't associate courage with people like this. We think he's a manipulator, he's behind the scenes, and the first moment of some trouble, he'll run. But Shakuni actually fought 18 days of the war. From the beginning, I mean, he's fought, he's been defeated, he had to retreat, he'll come back and fight, he's done all this. But 18 days, he did not back out from the war and all. He fought, he's lost his sons, his brothers. The losses have not been just to the Pandava side. He's lost his family. And despite that, he's stuck to what he said, I will fight for this side, I will fight. He dies only on the 18th day. He dies after Karna and all these people. It's only Duryodhana and Ashwatthama who survive on the last day, the night of the 18th, after which the slaughter happens. So there is this particular thing that happens after Bhishma has fallen. On the 11th day, 10th day, Bhishma falls and Drona is made the commander. And his first vow, Shapatha, is that I will capture Yudhishthira alive. So on the 11th day, there's a confrontation between Shakuni and Sahadeva, and Shakuni actually wins. He beats Sahadeva. So I thought I'll write of that particular day and bring Shakuni into it, because there's a lot of misconception about Shakuni. Agreed that he is portrayed as one of the bad guys. Vedavyasa very clearly says the bad guys. He describes a tree of evil. That's Duryodhan, Dushasan, Karna, Shakuni, and the roots are Dhritarashtra. So he's very clear about this. But most of us, when we think of Ramayana and Mahabharata, it's the visual representation that we've seen on TV or our regional movies that come into our mind, not the literature. So, but what comes there and what the literature is different in some cases. The most obvious example in this case I can give you is Shakuni. Everybody seen B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata. You will see the actor, his name is Gufi Panthal, who plays Shakuni, and everybody loved the way he played the character. But he limps in the thing. That limp is not there in the Mahabharata. So what has happened is, on that day of that shooting, on the way to the set, he's had an accident or something and he's injured a leg. Okay, and there is no way they can postpone the shooting, and wait for him to recover. So they said, you use the limp and shoot. That's how Shakuni started with the limp, and now everybody shows Shakuni with the limp. The moment you see that, you know that they have not done the research properly, and they had to make do at that situation. But if you are continuing that, your research is watching B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, not reading the book. And he's not a person who's... there has actually been an instance where he tells Duryodhan, see, give this up. This is all just your ego and your arrogance and your greed. It's theirs. You give it back and live. No, you have so much yourself. Why do you want to, be so greedy that you want to snatch theirs too? Let them live their life. They are not bothering you. Give it back to them. He actually tells Duryodhan this, and Duryodhan doesn't listen. A very interesting character. So I wrote this story. You had a word limit. Short stories usually between 4,000 to 6,000, something like that. They give you a little bit of leeway. You can go a little bit more. I wrote the story and gave it to my mother. My mother said, yeah, good, it's good. And I sent it to my sister. She also said it's good. And you're supposed to email this to us. And I didn't email. I just left it. Luckily, my mother remembered, like 2 days before the due date or something. She came and asked me, did you send that? I said, no, I didn't send it. She said, what is wrong with you? What is going to happen? They'll say it is not. No. What is there for you to lose? Send. So it's because my mother insisted that I sent that. I sent that thing. And it got selected. And immediately message, how long have I been telling you to write? Now at least listen. See, before you didn't have, it's a very wrong thing, but this external validation that it is publish worthy, I didn't have. Everybody used to say that, I used to write well. My sister used to keep telling me, you write now, what's wrong with you? But when it gets published, no, then you get this thing that, you know what, There have been instances where you pick up these authors, you read the book and like 40 pages and say, what crap is this, man? How I can write better than this? You have that thought in your head. You don't even finish that book. But you don't think, your first, at least for me, the thing was, there must be something in the book that the publisher thought it was good enough to publish. That must be in page 200 or 250. I am not going to get to that. I'm stopping. This was the thought that was in your head. So once this short story got published, and it was not self-published, it was published by Bloomsbury. So it found a traditional publisher. And it came out, and then the reviews started coming. And when I went to Amazon and saw the reviews and I saw what people were saying about Shakuni's story, was when I said, okay, people actually want to read this. They actually appreciate what is there. So when the next anthology came around, once this happens, then after that, you're like, ambition is, let's go for a way. We know we can do it. So why stop at small things? So they wanted something about the women in Mahabharata, but not the ones that you know. You wanted ones that were lesser known, okay, which nobody really pays. Yeah, unsung again, but women. And it doesn't have to be, like warrior kind of anything. So usually everybody knows about Kunti and Gandhari and Draupadi and Rukmini and all this. So I just came across a particular, so I was thinking what to do. And one of the names again was, we actually don't know the name of this lady. So there was one very major warrior who didn't take part in the Kurukshetra war, and that's Krishna's brother, Balram. He's guru to Bhima and Duryodhana. He's supposed to be the strongest warrior, mace warrior of that time. But he goes on a pilgrimage. So he starts off from Prabhas and he goes all the way. He's taking Saraswati all the way to the origin. So when he's traveling, he comes on particular tirthas he comes. And every tirtha he stops, he does some puja and all that stuff and he goes. And every tirtha there's somebody telling him what the story is. Like we have Sthala Purana for temples. Every tirtha has a story. So he comes to a place and he says there was this great Rishika here and she wanted to go to heaven. But the only problem was, and she's in very advanced age, say imagine she's like 80, 85. Narada tells her you can't come to heaven because there's one thing you need to do, and that is get married. Since you have not married, you can't go to heaven. The funny thing is, the tirtha before this was a lady who didn't have to marry but went to heaven. So this is individual karma. It's not one societal rule and all that stuff. So that lady went to heaven without getting married. This lady has to get married. Now at this advanced age, who is going to marry her? Okay. So we don't know the name of this lady. And this comes just there and it's like 8 lines something. She goes to find a groom. She finds a groom, marries him and goes to heaven. This is the end of her story.
Yeah.
And we know who her dad is. So I said, okay, we know nothing, blank slate. This is all we know. We'll write about her. And I started writing and maybe 2 pages in, I said, this can't be prose. This has to be a poem. Because that there is a love story somewhere there. Because at this age, if somebody agrees to marry her, there has to be something there. No?
Yeah.
So let's make it a love story. And let's do it where when you, if it's a poem that has to be sung, imagine like in the olden days, you had these big lamps with the deepam and there was to be a dance performance in front of you. And there would be people singing, there would be the instruments and there was an artist performing. If you want to evoke that kind of a feel, bring it into this, you have to write a poem. So I wrote a narrative poem that was maybe around 4,000 words, where I had to tell you that this is from the Mahabharata, so I gave you a overview of the Mahabharata and where the story comes, and then I come to this lady and I gave her the name Shandilya Duhita. this is Shandilya is a Gotra. Duhita means daughter. Okay, because her name was Kuni Gargi in the Mahabharata, because her father's name was Kuni Garga. So it's a derivative name. What her real name is, we don't know. And while I was researching, I come across a research paper on this very same lady by somebody sitting in Bengal. And this lady is an academician. I forget her name. I was in touch with her that time when I wrote it. And very senior lady. And I reached out to her and I said, how did you get this name? And she said, this is how it is. I said, ma'am, I'm writing a poem on her. And I'll send you the book once it's done. And I wrote this poem and about how this lady finds a groom and how she chooses him and what happens, how did the marriage happen and how did she ascend to heaven. So this came out in this book called Arya, which is another anthology. So while I was writing Arya itself, what had happened is after Shakuni, my sister was telling me, you write something. She was even more ambitious than me. She said, you write a novel. What? This is a narrative poem and all this stuff. You write a full story, And so the first thought that came into my mind was Parashurama. And somehow all those incidents have been... And because I could not find a story of Parashuram to satisfy me. So I actually sat down to write what I wanted to read.
So is that the reason you chose the topic Parashurama?
Parashuram, yeah. Because, see, when I'm reading other texts, they're not giving me an explanation or they're not giving me something to my mind which satisfies how a son would behead his mother. Because this is what everybody knows about Parashuram. And I've actually seen on social media, on Twitter, Facebook and all, a guy who murders his mother can never be an avatar. So I don't want to worship Parashuram. All this will come on social media. So you've already made an instant judgment. And if I had to tell this person what the story actually was, which book do I point him to? So whichever story, with no disrespect and all this stuff, whichever story I read about Parashurama was not telling me this. They would skip over this incident in a very nice way, or they will put it down to being a very obedient son. But then there are 5, he's got 4 brothers, elder to him. All of them disobeyed the father. So why did they disobey? And you can't say what they were doing was adharma or something. They are refusing to kill their own mother. The mother is not a bad woman or anything. She has not committed adultery or anything. It's something that she saw. So how are you going to make sense of this? So I wanted a Parashurama story where I could explain that to you, tell you what is the meaning behind it. And for a person who's called a Brahma Kshatriya and who's perhaps, we all know about Bhima and Arjuna and all that. This guy was, exponentially stronger than them. They tell you in Ramayana the strongest warrior is Indrajit. He had all the weapons. He was better than Ravana also. This man is even beyond Indrajit. And we know nothing about his battle. They just know there was a villain called Kartavira Arjuna. These two had one fight and finish. But how? I mean, if he knew so much, where is his battle description? You then discover there is no one book about Parashuram. Like you have Ramayana about Sri Rama, you have Bhagavatam about Sri Krishna. That one book about Parashurama is not there.
So whenever we are starting to read a book, and usually it's about an avatar or a form, we start from how the birth happened, the childhood and everything. But the Rama of the Axe, it's where he's already an adult. Was it it had a particular reason to start the book that way, where he's already an adult?
Okay, excellent question. Because there are so many rules to writing that people get lost in the rules rather than, the most famous one is show, don't tell. So what they're trying to tell you is don't tell the reader what is happening, show it to them. Okay, so a lot of people try to put so much show into the book, it loses the depth. So one of the things they also tell you is, whether it's a movie or whether it's a book, start as close to the end as possible. Because you know where the ending is going to be. So it keeps everything tight rather than, and if you read the original story of Parashurama, he's spending years in tapasya. Now, if I were to show that, it means you're pausing the action everywhere else. You're concentrating on the tapasya of Parashurama, but everything else that happens around, nothing has stopped. But you are in the book, you're sort of putting a pause button there because you want to show this. So you had to bring the timeline down a bit, and see how you can play with that. Which is why I started off with him being an adult. Because for every story, there is something that defines, that's one point that defines the story. From where the actual story begins. So if you look at Parashurama's childhood, first, we don't know much about it except who his parents are, where he lived and all that. There is no incident there that is story worthy, if I can put it that way. What happens is generations before, because a person who's in a Brahmin family but born with Kshatriya qualities, that was fated to happen 2 generations back. So that is before he was born. That story is there in the book. So if I had to bring the childhood in, there had to be something significant to this story that happened there. So because there was nothing there, it helped me in a sense, because I could start closer to what was the point from which this life of Parashurama, that was continuing with his ashram and his studies and his physical exercise and training and Dhanurvidya. At what point does Ramabhadra, which is his given name, start becoming Parashurama? Because that book is about Ramabhadra becoming Parashurama. We know he's Parashurama because that is a name that is given to him because of his weapon. So before that, he was somebody else. So this journey to becoming Parashurama is book 1. And after he becomes Parashurama, how does he go about it is book 2. And how does he become Bhagavan? How does he become a deity is book 3. So that was the reason that the childhood part of it was left. And like I told you, we don't have one book for him. There's a very interesting story for that. It seems such a book exists. Only thing, but we don't know where it is. It was compiled by a 16th century Maratha chieftain. His name is Sabaji Pratap. And he had this Jagir that was gifted to him by the Ahmednagar Sultan. So he came about 5 texts or something and he compiled them together. So one of those books is called the Parashurama. So we actually have a book for Parashurama, but it is in the hands of some family who either do not want to reveal it or do not know that they possess it. For some reason it has not come out. So till that book comes out, we do not know if there are some incidents in his childhood. Or what more there is to the story. Because Brahmanda Purana gives you the outline. This is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. To build a story around that is what is your challenge. Because if you look at our Puranic stories, and there's a lot of retelling happening now. If I were to tell you a story that is already in the Brahmanda Purana, what interest would a reader have? You would rather read the Brahmanda Purana rather than... But since there is an ease for me there, some less pressure there, because I know what the story is, the more responsibility comes on me, because I can't now start saying my creative freedom and start doing whatever I want with it. Which the easiest thing would be to do is make Kartavira Arjuna the hero and make Parashurama the villain. Then you bring some high funda words like Brahmanical patriarchy and genocidal maniac, and you do all that, means you are actually doing a disservice to the story. You are bringing your ideology to play into a Puranic story where you're not being faithful to your ideology nor to the Puranic story. This is some weird creature in between that exists as a story. It's just published and out there. I don't think you should do that. You approach it with a little bit of respect. There is something that story is trying to tell you. To catch that is your job as the writer. And then put it across to readers in the most entertaining, the most truthful way that you can.
So that's how the book starts. And the creative space where you have is in your narrative style as well, where you have it shows like a magnifying, like magical mirror, where on one hand there is Parashurama, who's doing years of penance and gaining strength day by day, and there is Kartivirarjuna, who's built of arrogance and bloated ego, and here is Parashurama, whose strength is growing day by day, and the Kartivirarjuna's ego is coming down every day. So there is this parallel narrative style. So was there, what is your reasoning for this juxtaposing of characters?
Okay, it gives you something to compare the arcs of both, no?
Yeah, the arc
of both these characters. So when you know that this person is going from being just a mortal to an avatar, and here is a king who was once so praised for being dharmic, and now he's become so bad that this avatar is here to bring his downfall. Before the two of them meet in that climactic battle, there has to be a journey of where this man gains the power and this man sees the doom impending, but he's still too egoistic to see it. He still thinks he's so powerful and so big that he can beat what's coming. You see that, no, everywhere. Even in Narasimha's story, you see that, no. You worship only me. Who's this Vishnu that you have to worship? Bring him on, I will take him on. That kind of stuff comes with what started off as confidence becomes your ego, and you think that there's nobody, I'm unquestionable. So you had to show that, no? So when you have these parallel paths, where not really parallel because they meet at the climax, you have that journey of how they are getting there. So to alternate between the two and to show that, I thought was the best thing that you can do to a story was that, no?
Yes, and the concept of Chiranjeevi here, who was a mortal then becomes a Chiranjeevi, and there are many beliefs that there are 7 Chiranjeevis or 8 or so. How do you explain who is a Chiranjeevi in this Brahmanda, and the concept of Chiranjeevi and the significance of being a Chiranjeevi?
Okay. Now they've told you there are 7. So in this list of 7, usually Markandeya does not figure. Okay, but Markandeya is a Chiranjeevi. He's usually the 8th. Even in the 7, they tell you Ashwathama is a immortal, a Chiranjeevi. But that is debatable because he was cursed by Krishna for a certain number of years. Actually, if you go to YouTube and see, there are a lot of shots. People will come out and say, we saw Ashwathama. We saw this 9-foot tall figure with a wound on his forehead, has a diseased body. You will find him in all these remote temples of Madhya Pradesh. You will find a lot of stories like this, like as if he's still around. But if you look at the curse that was given for like 3,000 years, he should have finished the curse and moved on by now. So, but he is in the list of Chiranjeevis that come. So usually that it is the simplest way to look at it is that it is an expansion of your life, the years that you have in your life. But it is not just the years that come. There are additional boons that have been given. The best case of that is Hanuman. Because he's got so many boons. He's got the Ashta Siddhi with him. He can become as big as he wants, as small as he wants, as heavy as he wants. He can fly. So all this is different for each. And there are purposes to each. There's nothing that happens without a purpose. Now, if Parashurama is being made a Chiranjeevi, why? So that why is tried to be answered in book 2. Number 1, we know that he has to be the guru to the 10th avatar. So Parashurama will be the guru to Kalki avatar. Second, we know that he's going to be a Saptarishi. Now Saptarishi is another exalted status. Our rishis are already so powerful. 7 of them have been chosen for particular tasks. That is to propagate dharma, teach, reveal new mantras. So he is being made the Sapta Rishi for the next Manvantara. That's the next period of time where the 4 yugas are over. Among the Chiranjeevis is Mahabali. Mahabali, again, we have this misconception that it was injustice that was done to him, that he was cursed. Mahabali is an extremely powerful person. And he was not cursed, he was blessed. Number one, he's a Chiranjeevi. His lifespan has been expanded so much. Why? Because he's going to be the next Indra. We have an Indra now. So that is it is a position. It is a position where you're the leader of the Devas.
Gods.
It is not one person that you're doing. It's a position. It's like prime minister, or president of a country. So he's going to be the next. Can you imagine when you say that, we always look down on Asuras, and Asura is going to be the next Indra, the leader of Devas. Okay, so and the popular notion is that he's been put down into Patala. Okay, a lot of people confuse Patala and Naraka. It is not the same. It's two different levels. Naraka is where all your boiling in oil and all that, whatever you want to think of it happens there. Patala is another level. So he lives in a place inside Patala called Sutala. And that is so magnificent. It rivals Indrapuri. Because he's given that status of being the next Indra. He lives that. If he's going to be a king, he's going to live like a king. And that's where he lives. So he's not undergoing torture and he's not under depression and all that stuff. He's enjoying his life, waiting to gain that next ascension that he's going to get. So these are some of the things that have crept into our storytelling over the years. So which makes it our responsibility to tell our stories responsibly, number one, and to correct these misconceptions. And these are the myths, actually, not what is in the Puranas. This additional stuff that has come along, which sometimes has come as an honest mistake, but mostly 95% of the time is injecting an alien ideology into it and trying to twist the story to suit what your ideology is. That is that is the myth, not the stories in the Puranas. So it is to dispel this mythology that we have to tell our original stories properly. We do not know why Vibhishana is a Chiranjeevi. Okay, he stood with Adharma. We know why he was blessed. What is he supposed to do next Manvantara? Is he going to be a minister to Kalki? We don't know. Vedavyasa, the greatest of all authors possible. There's this Tamil writer, Jay Mohan. I think he's the one who wrote the script for Ponniyin Selvan, the movie and all that. I think it is him. I'm not sure. I saw this interview in Tamil years back, and he made a very peculiar statement. He said, an author will never get moksha. Not possible. No matter how spiritual you are, how philosophical you are, when you have to tell a story, or like you're making a movie, writing a script, you have to come down to evoke emotions in the reader or the viewer. Otherwise, it's not going to affect anybody at all. Somewhere those emotions have to live with you. You're rooting yourself back down in samsara to do that. So this moksha is not available for you. Okay, so if you look at it, that applies to artists also. So no moksha for artists. So just imagine, you've had Shakespeare, you've had Kalidasa. All these people have been reborn.
Yes.
And they don't know they were Shakespeare in their previous life. And they're sitting here and watching Hamlet and saying, why does this play so appealing to me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Kalidasa will be in Varanasi Ghat somewhere singing Hanuman Chalisa, and he doesn't know that it is his own stuff. But how is it that when I recite it, I see so many monkeys? It's fantastic train of thought to go with.
Yes.
So if, for argument's sake, if you hold that is true, moksha is not available, then the only thing available is immortality, Chiranjeevi.
Chiranjeevi.
And there's only one author who's got it. Only Vedavyasa, nobody else.
Yeah.
That is why he is the greatest. That is why when he writes Mahabharata, he can write there, whatever is there in this book can be elsewhere. But what is not in this book, you are not going to find anywhere else. Only a Chiranjeevi can write that.
Yeah.
Because that is the power of what is there in his book. That tapasya is through his books. And we have a stupid belief, I don't know if it is still popular, that you should not keep the Mahabharata at home because it causes fights in the family. A book that has the Bhagavad Gita in it, a book where Bhishma reveals Vishnu Sahasranamam, should not be kept at home because you're only focused on the war.
Yeah.
So when people read Mahabharata also, they stop with the war. Book is over. There is so much more after that. Some of the most beautiful stuff comes after the war. We are only interested in Hulk versus Thor fight happening. We are not interested in what else is happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he is another Chiranjeevi. So they have different purposes. We don't know why. For example, I don't know why Kripacharya is a Chiranjeevi. He doesn't play that much of a major role in the Mahabharata either. So why is he? That's another mystery that should come out.
Yeah.
So it generally means that their lifespans are expanded. Their vitality is more. Maybe the body repairs itself faster than it decays. It can be different for each people.
Yeah.
Each person.
So it differs.
It differs
From one Chiranjeevi to the
other. But we know that there for certain that the lifespan has been extended. But in this list of Chiranjeevis also we miss two people. Now we are in Kali Yuga, and towards the end Kalki is going to come and set things right. Now when the next Satyuga starts, there are two very prominent lineages in our Puranas. One is the Solar dynasty and one is the Lunar dynasty. Suryavanshi and Chandravanshi. Suryavanshi is Sri Rama. Chandravanshi is Sri Krishna. So this Ramayana is all Suryavanshi. Mahabharata is all Chandravanshi. Now when the next Satyuga starts, these two lineages have to be revived. And there are two ancestors of this who are still living, but are hidden to us. Devapi of the Lunar dynasty and Maru of the Solar dynasty. These are human beings. They are supposed to be in tapasya on this earth, according to the stories.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about them. We have no sightings of them or no stories about them. But when the next Satyuga starts, they will emerge from their hiding and start off the Surya Vamsha and the Chandra Vamsha again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we don't count them among Chiranjeevis at all.
God, I'm imagining where they might be on this earth. So Parashurama, who was born mortal, then becomes an avatar of Mahavishnu.
Yeah.
So the reason why is he was he born for that, or is he a chosen one?
Yeah.
Or because of his what to say, proclivity that he has in him, that he becomes the avatar of Vishnu.
Yeah. Two things here. You're largely asking free will and destiny.
Yeah.
And one more, you're asking me, why does an avatar have to come? Okay. It's only when there is an imbalance, there is so much evil in this world, it has gone beyond the scope of normal human beings to keep it in check or to finish it, that an avatar comes. Okay. So the fount of Adharma at that time was Kartavirarjuna. And there was no human, not even the Saptarishis could take on him. Such powerful rishis. You had Vishwamitra, Vashishta and all these people. Even they could not bring him down. They needed somebody to come, which is when the time for the avatara is set. Now, should it be Parashurama only? Or was it destined it would be Parashurama? In a way, it was destined. Because this avatar of Vishnu will come. That story I told you about the grandparents, this Brahma Kshatriya thing, where two portions of pudding were exchanged. So what Jamadagni was supposed to be the Brahma Kshatriya, but his mother did not want a Kshatriya son. I want a very learned
Scholar
kind of son. So it's postponed by a generation. So Parashurama is a Brahmashatriya, but will he be an avatar? Is a very interesting question, and that is the crux of the story. Because I am saying he became an avatar because of the free will that he took. Not merely destiny. Because he did not refuse to execute his mother. The only son who did it. That is where his free will comes in. And that is where the whole crux of the story is, because in the Brahmanda Purana, Renuka's story is not there. That I found only when I read about the Sthala Purana of the Yellama temple in Savadatti.
Yeah.
So all these goddesses that we know of, like Shitala Devi, Yellamma, Mariamman, are all one goddess. Renuka. The thing that Renuka is a goddess is not known to many people. There are so many people from North Karnataka who Renuka Devi is their Kul Devi.
Yeah.
But it has not, this story somehow has not found that connection to Parashurama's. That it is a Mahavidya, a form of Devi herself called Chinnamasta, who has manifested in Renuka and made her a goddess. So this man has not beheaded his mother. He has put her through the beheading and made her a goddess. Because before that she was just Renuka. So you have in one incident somebody starting off being an avatar and his mother becoming a Devi. So this Devi part of it is lost. If he had not taken that decision to execute his mother, his father would have... I answer that question also in book 1 because it's the obvious thing that comes to your mind. What if Parashurama had not done? So why did Parashurama do it? What if he had not done it? So I had to answer both in book 1. So if he had not, why did he make the decision to execute his mom, his mother? His journey to becoming an avatar starts there, because finally where Parashurama ends up is becoming a devotee to Lalita Tripura Sundari. He is a Devi Bhakta at the end. So it is a avatar of Mahavishnu who does tapasya to Mahadeva and ends up being a Devi Bhakta. So he is not going to fall into this bracket of Vaishnavism, Shaivism or Shaktism. He is going to encompass all three. He is going to be a part of the Vedas. He is going to be a part of the Tantra also. How will you capture the magnificence of such a complex character? So this part is not known to people. Was he destined to be an avatar? In the cosmic scale, we can say yes, he was, because that was the purpose of this avatar. But would he have been an avatar if he had not taken the step to execute his mother? I don't think he would have. It would have fallen on somebody else. So the potential of being an avatar may have been lost to him. So it goes, he had to show that strength of character. He had to show that belief, that his belief that this is something greater at play. And I will take a step for which I will be cursed by everybody else. You will see that in common in a lot of avatars. When Rama asks Sita to take Agni, he's still cursed for it today. When Krishna leaves the battlefield, he has a name called Ranchod. One who leaves from, he's still mocked for it today. You will see one incident in their lives where they know probably the people living then or future generations are going to mock them, curse them for it, but they will take that. That kind of character will make an avatar. That's a very, very hard thing to do.
Yes. How to take that decision?
It's...
So in the book, we can see some poetic lines as well, which also depicts slight writings of Sri Shankaracharya as well. And writing poems is something very different from writing a narrative story. And something which is very spiritual, mythological, and putting a poem in between this book. How was it? And the Sri Shankaracharya's writings, the depiction, how do you put that in your book? And was there a reason to take up the poems in between to say something so that it touches the reader in the right way?
Think about it as a civilization. You see Indian movies, you see the ones in Hollywood.
Yeah.
How many times in a Hollywood movie have you seen an actor or an actress doing something else, but they're humming a song? I haven't. It's only something in the background, or there is a specific reason why they're singing that song. Otherwise, it is not a casual whistling, humming. You had musicals before, but you don't catch that. You see how many Indian movies have that, and we don't have the separation between musical and thing, because songs are a part of our life. Everything from our birth to our death has a song.
Yeah.
No matter whether you're meeting your girlfriend for the first time, there is one song. You break up with, she says no, there is a song. She says maybe, there is a song.
Yeah.
Break up with her, there is a song. She marries somebody else, there is a song. She marries you, there is a song. Everything, there is a song.
Song. Yeah.
Why would you not have songs in your literature? When you're saying the Rig Veda is a hymn, it is not prose. It is sung. There is a chanting that goes, and there is a particular rules for that chanting. Now you're taking Puranic stories. All these deities, you have Namasmarana, Kirtana, Prarthana, everything you have.
Yes.
Now when you're writing about them, why would you not include it? Right. Now when you put this in there, you don't put it in there just for show and to say I can write poetry. So I used to hate poetry. I know this modern poetry and all. I seriously, I don't read in regional language. I read in English. I can't stand it because I can't make out head or tail of what is happening. You're supposed to make up your own meanings. I don't know how that is done. In school, even though I liked English literature, I did not like the poetry section at all. Till I read this poem called The Highwayman. I don't know if it is there in the syllabus now. It was there in the ICSE syllabus, and a fantastic poem because it tells you a story.
Yeah.
It's about a highwayman and his girlfriend. He's coming to meet her, but the troops are waiting for him, and how he comes by the moon. And she's waiting for him, and how she describes. If you look at one more thing, you look at the songs.
Yeah.
It's all guys singing about how lovely their girlfriends are. How many songs are there where the girlfriend is singing how lovely my boyfriend is? Hardly. I don't know. I don't know whether they're trying to say women make very bad poets or what. I have no idea what it is. All poetry is only comes to men because women are so beautiful and men are not beautiful at all. I don't know what the thing is, but this is where most of it is. But in this poem, she's waiting for her lover and he's coming by the moonlight and he's riding this horse, and the way that poem is, it describes the whole thing to you, and it ends in a tragedy because he's shot, but that entire poem tells you a story. That story I wanted to narrate through a poem came in Arya, because I wanted to tell how this old woman, when she hears Narada saying that you cannot enter heaven without a marriage, she takes it as a challenge and says, I will find a groom. And when she goes around, she does not accept the first person who comes and says. At that age, despite knowing how difficult it is, she puts that person to a test and says, you pass this test, then you'll marry me. And the person who comes is a 24-year-old young man who says, I will marry you. So how does I have to tell you that story, So once I told you that, I knew that when I'm writing in Rama of the Axe, I can't just put it there just for show. If you read Western fantasy writers like Robert Jordan, he's written this entire series of 15 books called The Wheel of Time. It came out on Amazon also as a series. Okay, doesn't do justice to the book, but in all these stories, you have a marching song, troops. You have a tavern song where people are drunk and singing. It's like our item songs that happen in our movies. All this happens. You have a village song. You have a song for a particular festival. All this, and so much of the philosophy is taken from the East, from India and China. The Wheel of Time is our Kala Chakra only. He's taken yin and yang, masculine and feminine. And he's played, why aren't we... This is our own story. It is given to you. Why aren't we doing that? So that was one of the reasons for putting the story there. And if you look at it finally, what you say is Sri Adi Shankara's teaching. I think most probably you picked it up because those two words neti neti is there, not this, not that. But that is there in all our Upanishads. No? What finally Shankaracharya is telling you is a concise version of what he has learned from the Upanishads. So this is already there.
Yeah.
And this is the line of questioning that they have taken to discover what is the Parabrahman. So when you say, so you can play with that when it comes. So when the line comes, can Brahma be a buffalo? He says yes, you say no, both are wrong. It makes you, it's telling you neti neti only. The same thing only, it is telling you in different way. Not this, not that. It's telling you the same thing. So if I had to convey what an Aghori is, because you think Aghori is one end, Adi Shankara is one end. I'm telling you they are not. They are both connected. You don't look at Aghori as different and Adi Shankara as different. Their parts are different, but the philosophy behind it, there is a meeting ground. So, which is why I tried to convey it in that song sung by the Aghori.
Yeah. So, and also, if I may ask, like, you have been in the media, like in front of camera. So, was the working experience in front of a camera, the lights and everything, helped you in any way while writing a book? Because when we are reading a book, there is a picture, there's an imagination in the reader's mind.
Yeah.
So, you might have acted or worked in front of a camera. How did that help you in any way while writing a book?
See, it helped because number one, I told you he used to change the dialogue and say in a language I was not too okay. So it helped me because I could understand why he was changing the dialogue. So when he has given you 5 lines and he says, no, you move 4th line to the first, you're going to wonder why did he do. There has to be, you have already taken 2 shots where you have said the dialogue. The 3rd shot he's saying, no, put the 4th line first. What has happened there that made him think of changing the dialogue? So you connect the action to what is being said. So you learnt one thing that you can use in the book. Second, I've worked as a script assistant too, which we took a Tamil novel and we tried to write a screenplay for it. My friend was doing it in Tamil, I was doing it in English, and we sent it to NFDC. It's still lying there. What happened? No idea. So you had this thing where you could take a story, which if the writing is powerful enough, it will evoke whatever sense I want to evoke in you, whether what you're supposed to hear, what you're supposed to see, or if I'm describing a garland that has been presented to someone, what the smell of the garland will be, right? You can't do this in film. I can't, unless I convey a person smelling the flower and saying that this is so beautiful. How are you going to convey to the audience? Because you have only audio and visual on film. You have all 5. Touch, taste, everything is there in the book. I can evoke it with the words. But here I have to evoke it with action or a sound. There is no other way to do it. So how to do that, you get while you start doing it. So to make you think of something, now I have all 5 senses and I can tell you what to think of to get that picture. I don't have to be over descriptive of it. I'm describing the studio. I don't have to go and tell people everything about it, because you'll find this in a lot of books before. They will tell you the door was like this, you walk in, there are 2 sofas of this color and mic like this, and they'll describe what kind of a mic it is, the lights, they'll tell you all this. Now I don't have to, because ever since the smartphone has come, anybody who has a smartphone is getting hundreds of visuals every single day, especially with social media. Now digital art has also come. No generation in the history of humankind has been bombarded with so many visuals in their lifetime. Nobody has. You had to develop film to get a picture, and you saw movies. That was our parents' generation. My kids' generation, they just have to open something, hold in their hand, and anything you want. So when I say ashram, they already have a picture of an ashram. If I say I walked into a studio to do a podcast, they know they know it is not a film studio. They know it is not a news studio. They know it is a studio where podcast they're not going to do standing up. They're going to do sitting down. They know it's going to be talking. They know it's going to be a mic. So imagine how much of the description I've cut down. I don't have to write one paragraph telling them what it is. Whether the color makes sense or not depends on the story. Is it valuable to the story? I can leave out the color. Let them imagine what they want. I just have to tell you the setting and go on with what is happening. That's how it helped.
So when he is born mortal and then becomes a Chiranjeevi, and he has his own journey, Parashurama has his own journey, and in the second book he finishes there's a war and he ends the life of Kartivirya Arjuna.
That is in book
in
one.
the second book.
No,
in the first book he ends. So after that, in the second book, where he has already finished the battle and everything, Parashurama reaches a stage where he is in the utmost like Kraurya, and he knows that he's in that zone where there's uncontrollable rage. There is also he is also that person who knows that he has inherited self-control. He is a person who has a sense of knowing what is going on, what is not going on. But now he is in this state where he himself is not able to control the rage he has reached because of just the war has just ended. So how would you explain this phase, the transformation of him entering that uncontrollable rage zone and coming out of that zone where he knows that he can be the most self-controlled person?
That is a journey in itself, because two things happen towards the end of the book. One, he's fighting a war against a person that cannot be killed. Now he has to find out a way to kill him. And somebody who's so powerful that he can grow 1,000 arms, he can break the earth. So in this process of overcoming such a formidable adversary, he raises a power in him, that is the Kundalini Shakti. When he has the second darshan of the goddess and becomes an avatar and a Chiranjeevi, there is a profound spiritual thing that happens to him along with him coming back to life. Okay, I'm deliberately saying coming back to life. I don't mean it because I have left it like a question mark in the book. You can take it as being in a coma or as unconscious, the way you want to. Now, once this has happened and the purpose has been accomplished, what happens? When the power that has ascended comes down, it leaves you with a sense of emptiness. It is going to show you that there is something that you have to still do to keep it at a steady level. Now this has gone up and come down. How do you raise it again? I started that book to here because our most common perception of Parashurama is that he's very violent, furious man. He's just looking for the next thing to cut. There is nothing very arrogant and aggressive. It doesn't go beyond that. So when I start book 2 showing him this way and then telling you how he found control, then you understand that Parashurama is not what I thought. So this whole thing is taking the reader from your misconception to what I want you to conceive. That's why I started there. And I started immediately after what ended in book 2. Maybe 4-5 hours after that is when this happens. That is when, after the battle of your life, it's like you're going in to fight with Mike Tyson. Okay, you've defeated him. The celebration is over. Then imagine the slump that you have. And when you have this much divine power in you, that is going to fuel something insane. That is why those visions come. And he knows something inside him is warning him that he's a danger to everybody around him. He better get it in. But how? That how is the big problem for him. He knows all this.
Yeah.
So how does he get it in control? That question in book 1 stays till the end of the book. How? So every chapter is his how. Those Saptarishis come for the question, how does he answer them? Now he's got to find out each chakra. How does he do it? He's got new enemies. They've got new powers. How does he manage? The whole book is a how. The first book is a who. Who is Parashurama?
Yeah.
Second one is how does he do all this? Third one is what he becomes. Finally.
And any particular reason to choose the title Blade of Fury? Like the blade, and what does it? What do you want to convey by using that word in the title?
Yeah. Your boss also asked me this question. Why is it Rama of the Axe? Should be Rama with the axe. What is this? This guy doesn't know grammar or what? Rama of the Axe means what? So it just comes from thing that a person who's so powerful, whose father is an expert of Dhanur Vidya, who's taught him Dhanur Vidya himself, who has all these Divyastras, does this ghor tapasya to Mahadeva, and Mahadeva nicely gives him an axe and says, Tathastu, bye-bye, thank you. Why that axe? Why would he give him something? It is not a quiver of arrows that does not run out of arrows. It is not this bow with a string that cannot be cut, that only you are blessed with. He's already got a bow like that. Now what are you going to do with this axe? There has to be something to it. So the whole thing of writing Rama of the Axe was to tell you that there's so many secrets to the axe that actually can be wielded only by a person who's called Brahmashatriya. Nobody else. Because if you see that axe, you usually don't find it in Mahadev's hands. You'll find it only in Ganesha's hands or in Devi's hands. They will have the Khadga and all that stuff. When you see 16 arms, one of them will be an axe.
Yeah.
You're not finding that axe anywhere else. And why is this weapon so important that his name itself becomes Parashurama? He's going into battle alone, armed with just this axe. So it has to have something more. No? That was my reasoning towards it. And somewhere in that there is a hint given to you when it is told you in the Purana that the axe drinks blood. So all these places that you have these stories that there's always water involved. He's dipping his axe into a body of water and the axe expels the blood and the water turns red. That's how we have that name Aihole here, because he's supposed to have washed his axe in the Tungabhadra and a washerwoman has seen the water turn red. And this is the first words that came out of her mouth. That's how the place got its name. You have places like this in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, and he's created 5 lakes of blood in what we know as Kurukshetra today. 5 lakes of blood. So there is something more to the axe. It's already been hinted at. So where can I take that? If a man is being called, defined so much by a weapon, then we have to know so much about that weapon. There are temples where you go, you say, this is Kodandarama. Why do we say Kodandarama? Because he's holding that bow. That bow is called the Kodanda. Correct. So now we have a person who's Ramabhadra, who's called Parashurama, means that there has to be something special about the axe. No? So if it can drink blood, what else can it do? You look at the path of Parashurama, it is unlike a path any other avatara takes. Because he's on the tantric side, he's on the Vedic side. He's got a hymn in the Rig Veda, he's writing a book on Tantra. He's a Shishya of Guru Dattatreya, he prays to Mahadeva, but his ultimate divinity, the Parabrahman for him is Parashakti. Now how will you understand a character like this? So that axe is a metaphor to understanding him. So the thing is, know the axe, fear the blade. So fear the power he has.
Yeah.
Know the axe is what the axe stands for. What does the axe tell you about Parashurama? So it's through the secrets of the axe that you understand it required a Parashurama to wield that axe. Number one.
Yeah.
And how that weapon is not just a weapon of war, but also a very philosophical weapon. It teaches you so much more about life than. So it is a dual use weapon kind of thing. It's not just
Not for one purpose.
Yeah,
It has
it has a
lot of-
spiritual side to it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely when he gets the name because of that weapon, it holds a big significance.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So you were mentioning about the black magic and the Kundalini at the same time. So it's like a parallel journey that is going on. So why does this realization or the Kundalini portion happen after the big fight?
It happens just before, no? So
And-
throughout the book, he knew something is happening,
Yeah.
but he was unaware of what it was. Okay. Towards the climax, when he realizes all those questions, and he tells Arjuna, you know what, my father is still alive. And then he goes to this place where you don't know whether it's Mrityu or not Mrityu. And he goes to a final test with the goddess again. That's when the power rises and explodes out of his head, which means it's gone past the 7 chakras. This is in book 1. In book 2, he has to make that whole journey again, this time not as a blessing of the goddess, but as something that he has to realize himself, because his job as a Saptarishi now is to teach. Now, unless he walks the path himself, how is he going to lead the other people? So he has to understand what each chakra is, what does it do, what is the mantra, and go. Now, there is an opponent that comes to him that does not see all this at all. For him, what is abhichara usually is, it is just an expression of power, used to whatever purposes that you want. It is like being in government today. If you want a material answer, sure, there are some limitations to what you can do. But within those limitations, what you do, for good or for bad, can be anything. So abhichara is not involved in your spiritual growth. The source of the power may be the same, but here you're looking only to gain what you can, no matter who else loses whatever. It is me exerting my power over people to get what I want. The other one is for the upliftment of everybody. I'm going through this path because I want to teach this to somebody else and uplift them along this path. The end users of this power are both different.
Yeah.
Obviously, one is wrong, one is right. But what you can do with a power like this, it is so powerful, it is so limitless, that a person thinks he can deify himself. He can make himself a god through using this power. So it's this greed, this vengeance, this all your earthly desires put into a power like this. What downfall can come to you? And when it is used to uplift others, where it takes you is the two sides of the story in book 2.
So, in the the process of awakening Kundalini, he goes through a lot of mental things that he had to go through, and emotional things. Because he was mortal,
Yeah.
he has to go through these cleansing tests.
Yeah.
Or does that happen to everyone who goes through this turmoil?
Yeah.
Or
It is meant to. It is meant to cleanse your karma.
everyone who
Who goes on this path has to go through a kind of cleansing, not only of your emotions, but also of the karma that you're carrying with you. Which is why this is a spiritual path, which many people abuse to get material gains. You come to think of it, you can actually say the same thing about astrology. When you look at Jyotisha, it is why are those planets in those charts when you were born. Because this is the karma that you have done before that enabled this chart only. So it is telling you your life's journey. It is supposed to be something very spiritual, which is why it is called a Vedanga. It is the eye of the Veda, a part of it. If the Vedas are such spiritual texts, why are we looking at which house I will buy, which color car I will have to buy, which ring I have to wear? These are all peripheral. No? It is trying to tell you what karma you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to cut for you to evolve next. That is what the chart is about. This is the same thing here that is happening, because this is a path of spirituality. This is to cleanse you and take you to the ultimate, that is Parabrahman, for you to get your moksha. Along the way, you may get material benefits, but you are not supposed to get attached to it. You please enjoy them, but enjoy responsibly. They're not telling you don't. We have this sort of common perception that sannyasa is somehow a very great thing. Okay, we all respect sannyasis. That's not, but it's somehow the ultimate that you should do. There is a Saptarishi called Gautama, and he tells you the greatest ashramas. There are 4. There's Brahmacharya, there's Grihastha, there's Vanaprastha, and there's Sannyasa. The greatest of these 4 is Grihastha, not Sannyasa. Grihastha ashramam is the greatest, because you keeping the world running. You are satisfying your ancestors by creating children of your own. So if Devi has created Maya for you, she wants you to, if this is her Leela, she wants you also to have your Leela here. No? Only thing she's telling you is, you abuse it, you're going to pay the price. Which is why they give you Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Stick on the path of Dharma, but make sure that you fulfill your desires. Make sure you get your ambitions done. Then move on. So she's asking you to please be a part of this world, enjoy what it gives you, and then move on. Because you go there without satisfying, you're going to come back. So just do it responsibly. So this path of the Kundalini is to, whatever you have accumulated so far, bring it down, cleanse it, and then move up. So for some people, if their practice over lifetimes is so good, it happens fast. Most people will have a lot of stuff to clear, and when you clear, you're going to, it's like dusting a room. The dust is going to get, you have to sneeze, you're going to get headache, something. So you're going to have some stress in your life, something that goes wrong. You will have to bear it, and it's definitely not easy. You're not going to get Kundalini awakening over 1 week course and all that stuff. You see a lot of stuff on YouTube. That is not going to happen. It takes years. Unless you're such a Siddhatmya that somebody comes and touches your forehead, you go visit some temple, suddenly something happens. That means you've spent years in your previous lifetime. I don't think 99% of us are that.
And definitely it's not, we might use the word it's a path, but it's a very long path, and it's not that easy. Definitely. Sir, in the chapter Trikona Prashna, where Saptarishis question Parashurama, and it is a form of debate, question and answer segment, a reader, a common man, would understand it as a question and answer, but it would be great if you could explain the implications of knowledge that was by now manifested in Parashurama.
Every time I go for an interview or something, I keep hoping somebody will ask me about this chapter because at least it shows an interest beyond the battles and the weapon and all that stuff. See, we are told that Parashurama is a Saptarishi. Now, why is he chosen as a Saptarishi? We know it is for the next Manvantara. But how? We have no way of knowing why this is so. That was one point. Now, when you have this image of this avatar as being so violent, so aggressive, and you see this hymn during your research, you see this hymn. There's only one hymn in the Rig Veda that is attributed to Parashurama. And it invokes 3 goddesses. Goddesses again. Okay. That is Ila, Bharati and Saraswati. 3 goddesses who sit in truth and come to hurt not. This is the literal translation of the hymn. Now, how do you explain this dichotomy where you think this is a very arrogant, violent man, but the hymn that is revealed to him, this is not something that he's composing. This is a hymn that has been revealed to him, is something that is so rooted in ahimsa. You're not going to hurt. You will speak the truth. And these are 3 goddesses that are associated with the Satyavak, Saraswati. Now, these 3 goddesses have been conflated into Saraswati later on. So, nobody speaks that much of Ila and Bharati now. When you look at this, you sort of instinctively know that there is much more to this man than his battles and his violence. You're also told he's going to be a Saptarishi. Now, how do you portray that wisdom to... You either put up a series of incidents which at some point is going to get very boring for the reader. The influence of this came from very long back. Because the first Mahabharata I read was this lovely hardbound red book by P. Lal. Okay, it's just the cover, because it had a lovely dust jacket and also that attracted me to the book. The second thing was because I was a very young kid that when I read it. It had this center 10 pages with color pictures. So you could see Bhima and his mace and Abhimanyu with that chariot wheel. All this was depicted there. So this interest in reading the book also becomes. And it was a concise, abridged version, not the unabridged version of the Mahabharata. So you could finish it fast. So throughout my reading of the Mahabharata, is Yudhishthira is what? Is one side character. The heroes are Arjuna and Bhima. And it comes to a point where there's this Yaksha Prashna in Mahabharata. And the answers, the questions and answers are brilliant. And when you put yourself, suddenly for you, after that Yaksha Prashna is over, because now there is no Bhima, there is no Arjuna, all of them are dead. They've drunk the water, and if they have to come back to life, he has to get all answers correct. This is the challenge that's been posed to him. And this man rises. He answers those questions, and at the end of Yaksha Prashna, for me, Yudhishthira is hero. This man is something else. So in every story, if you were to ask me, somebody actually said this, that if you want to understand the Mahabharata, you have to understand Yudhishthira. Otherwise it's going to be an Indian version of Game of Thrones or something of the sort. You're not going to understand why this is the Dharma Shastra. Because you look at this man, at the end of the war, he stakes his wife at a dice game. He loses his brothers at a dice game. Yet all of them want him to be the Samrat. You ask why. The war is over. He's ruling. Now Krishna leaves. He gives up everything and he starts on his last journey, and they're going up the mountain. One by one, everybody falls. And he's saying, don't look back. Don't stop. That sense of Vairagya has taken him where? And yet, at the end of it, he's the lone man standing. He's the hero of Mahabharata. Not Bhishma, not Bhima, not Arjuna.
Yeah.
This man, the lone man standing on that mountaintop, he's put to the test again. So somehow you understand that there is so much wisdom in this man. He will make for a just ruler. How do you portray that? All those questions portray Yudhishthira so beautifully to you, no? Yeah. And when he passes that test, this Vairagya he showed in saying not looking, don't look, leave them. He's not willing to do it for that dog. He says, you want to go to heaven? That dog has to come with me. Because everybody's fallen, the dog has made it till here. So he sees something that as a reader you do not see. And you're asking why, you're told who the dog is later on. But at that moment when he says, I want the dog, you're again, what is this man doing? He's going to heaven and he wants the dog with him. So in a few question answers and in one incident, Vedavyasa has told you what a great man Yudhishthir is. So every book I read after that, I wanted a Yaksha Prashna, I never found. Because there is, after that, I'm not finding that. The best I could come across was Vikram or Vetal. Those 30, every time there is a question, he has to answer. The moment he answers, he goes back up and he has to come again. So that kind of a riddle, a paradox is presented to you, solve it. It's very interesting. So I thought we could use that to show, and instead of showing a series of events, if I could wrap it up in that one, that impact of that one chapter would be so big. It will definitively put it into your head that this man has to be Saptarishi. So the problem was what questions and what answers. It can't be ordinary things that you've already heard of. It takes the whole joy of reading something. So Trikona Prashna is probably the chapter I've spent the longest on, because sometimes I would get the question, I didn't know what the answer was. Sometimes I would get the answer, but I didn't know what the question to that answer will be. And so I had to think about that.
Yeah.
And it can't be random stuff that I choose and put because it sounds interesting or this is like, sounds very mischievous or something. It had to show what this man wants to teach. Now, every avatar has something to teach. Whether it is a role model you want to emulate, whether it is something how you should live, what Krishna is teaching you through the Gita, or whether it is teaching you bhakti, there is something there. So I had to tell you what the purpose of this avatar. Nobody knows what Parashurama came to teach. That is a big vacuum in his story, because if an avatar is here to tell you, is it only cutting down adharma? It is because you know only that you think he is only violent. So when you say Saptarishi, definitely he has something to teach you. If he's going to teach you, what is the path that he's walking on? That path is so complex because it's Veda, it is Tantra, it is not both also, because Guru Dattatreya is not, he's a Avaduta, free. He doesn't have a guru, he's self-taught. Now you've got a third dimension to it. How, when one man encompasses all this, you suddenly realize that this avatara has not got the spotlight that it deserves. This is something, now actually if you put it very, I don't know what word to use. The superstars are Sri Krishna and Sri Rama. They are the, right? This man is coming as a guest appearance. Also.
Yeah. Cameo.
In a special cameo appearance, here comes. He deserves his own movie.
Yeah.
He deserves that superstardom.
Yeah.
So how do I convey that to you? And suddenly you feel a weight that was not there in book one. Because suddenly you know that this story has not been written by any author before. And that responsibility, if you get something wrong here, you are going to get so criticized and trolled after this. So that chapter was probably the toughest chapter to write for me. I had to tell you about the Bija Mantra. I had to tell you about Kundalini. I had to tell you that this is not disrespect of Vedas. That there is a connection because the Shivalinga is a mandala by itself. One of my favorite question answers in that is that if Om is the sound of creation, and if Maya has been created by Devi, so what is the Bija Mantra of Maya? It had to do with something that keeps a veil, that keeps you in samsara. So that is my favorite. I mean, you read the book to find out what the answer is, but that's the, I think the whole crux of that chapter comes from that one question and answer. Because I had to tell you that this whole play of Devi is for you not just to pierce the veil and reunite with her, but also partake in the play. That it is not only the Nirguna Parabrahman that most people cannot reach there. Which is why I say I'm using the senses, I'm using Maya. Your way to moksha is through this Maya itself. I had to convey that message to you. In popular perception today, Veda and Tantra are two different parts. They never mingle. Every Vedic god temple that you go to in Kerala, the Agama Shastra they follow is Tantric. You hold a homa at home, you call Kannada priests, you'll hear the chanting. It'll be really loud, clear. You bring a Malayali priest home, you'll see him doing the mudras with the fingers. You won't hear the chant because the chant is happening under his breath.
Yeah.
Two completely different things. It'll be the same mantra. They're doing a Ganapati Homam, they will do it like this. Because they're following the Tantric school. Even Shabrimala has the yantra there. It's the Tantric Paddhati that they're following. So there has, and all this is happening in Parashurama Kshetra, see. So he is the one avatar who's managed to bring these two streams together. And we completely have not recognized that at all. So the same deity, say Sri Rama worshipped in Kerala or the coast, completely different from what they're doing in Ram Janmabhoomi. Because they follow something else completely. I'm not getting into which is superior. That's not the debate here at all. Okay, that's a useless debate. You follow what your sampradaya tells you to follow. Yes. But to recognize that this avatara has done this. So when somebody asks me this, I said, why do we not know more about Parashuram? I gave them a simple metaphor. I told them if Sri Rama and Sri Krishna are like Ganga and Yamuna. You can see the rivers, you can go, you can do the arati, you can take a dip. Parashurama is like Saraswati. You've only heard history lesson. You've not seen the river. But the river still flows, but it's underground. So you have to get to Parashurama, you dig. There is no easy dip. You go dig.
Deep down.
Yeah. You don't know where to dig. You have to find the path. You have to get initiated into it. So he's waiting for you to come dig. Then I will show. So his story is most probably not well known because probably he doesn't want you to know. He's decided this is not the time for it. When the time comes, I will reveal it
You'll
myself.
reach to me, or I'll come to you.
Yeah, I'll come to you later. Now you find out how to come to me.
Yeah.
So this is that thought is there in the book. When his father asked him, why isn't Guru Dattatreya responding? So this thought is there where Parashurama himself says, I think he's waiting for a way to see how I will reach him. So that is my message to you, that you find out how to get to Parashurama rather than waiting for Parashurama to come to you.
Yeah. And in the book there is Parashurama Gita also. Like is it the Kalpa Sutra of...
No, that's completely...
How do you explain that?
That is completely made up with me because I'm so enamored by Parashurama, I thought he should have a Gita. So I wrote the Parashurama Gita. That what you see is the edited version of the thing. The first Parashurama Gita I wrote ran to 20 pages of the book. And my editor came back and said, Ranjit, people are going to stop reading this book right here. They are not going to go. I said, no, they'll skip the 20 pages if they don't want to read. He said, no, this is just too long. We can't. You have to try and get it down. So I had to rewrite that poem to make it. It made sense to me. You have a Rama Gita, though not too many people know. Everybody knows the Bhagavad Gita. There is a Rama Gita. There is a Devi Gita. There is a Avaduta Gita. There are so many Gitas. I think there is a book by Vivek Debroy that says the many Gitas or something of the sort. Why wouldn't, especially when I feel so bad that we don't have a Namasmarana for him, we don't have a daily prayer to Parashurama. Such a great warrior. We have so many military battalions. There is no war cry in his name. You have Jai Ramachandra, you have Bajrang Bali ki Jai, you have to Bhadrakali. There is nothing to Parashuram. We don't have a strike force named after him. Nothing. So it's my devotion to him. I said, I will write a Gita for you. Please, sorry if it's bad. Please forgive me.
And there are two points where Mahadev and Parashurama like encounter each other.
Yeah.
And one's in the beginning of the book and the second book.
Yeah.
What is the reason and significance why it is placed there?
Yeah.
And how does it affect the journey of Parashurama,
Yeah.
where he encounters
Okay.
Mahadev too?
Really interesting this is, because the first encounter, according to Brahmanda Purana, did not happen. Okay. So the second encounter is what you find. You find the parallel to this between Mahadeva and Arjuna, where Mahadev comes as a hunter. Both of them are trying to kill the boar, and then they dispute as to whose arrow killed the boar first. It's only after that test that Arjuna discovers that this is Mahadeva. Okay, so Parashurama and Mahadev fight once, where somehow Parashurama ends up injuring Mahadev. So that is one step ahead of Arjuna actually. The world's greatest archer could not defeat Mahadev, but this man, armed with a parashu, ends up injuring Mahadev. And that scar he treasures, saying that you have managed to give me a scar. So there is the story that way. But if I put it in book 1, I cannot depict how much he's grown stronger. So the first encounter where he loses served two purposes for me. It showed you where he stands as a warrior then. When book 2, when you read and when you discover that no matter what Mahadev does, this man has got a counter, then you understand how much of a warrior he's become.
Yes.
In the first encounter, he sees, when he tries to attack, he sees Mahadev in 3 places at the same time. He doesn't know what to do. In book 2, he sees Mahadev at 8 places. He knows what to do.
Yeah.
Okay. This time, it is not ordinary axes. It is the parashu that they are fighting each other with. It cuts through anything. The stakes are that much more. So how will you defeat Mahadeva? If Arjuna couldn't do it, how does Parashurama manage to do it? Only another Shiva can defeat one Shiva. So how does he do that? So it helped me show his spiritual evolution.
Yes.
But it is temporary only. But it shows you how far he's come spiritually and as a warrior. So which is why I took the liberty of the creative freedom of putting the first encounter, which you won't find in the Purana. The second encounter you will find.
Yeah. And also, can you tell something about the Vishwayonika Lingam and
Sorry?
The Vishwayonika Lingam.
Yeah.
And why is it significant with Parashurama?
Okay.
Does that hold a reason behind it?
Okay. First thing, thank you. Somebody has really read the book and made notes and all that stuff and then come out with questions. Because this came out of the blue. I didn't expect this at all. I know hardly anything about it. Because it is, what I've written in the book is the result of my research. Because you cannot find anything about it. There is a list, I think it's given in Skanda Purana or Padma Purana. There's a list given of the different kinds of Shivalingas that different people worship. The Saptarishi is one, the Asuras one, the Rakshasas one, the Nagas one. And this is supposed to hold tremendous power and significance for them. But the Saptarishis have only one. Okay. Now what struck me was the name of the Shivalinga. Because they're not calling it a linga, they're calling it a yoni. Now how do you... Again, you're given a dichotomy. Because the form is something, the name is something else. But is there a dichotomy there? Because it is Shiva and Shakti at the end of it. Now this is a devotee of Shiva and he's now writing a book to Shakti, thinks Shakti is everything. You can't have one without the other. So that name took that thing to me. And you have a Bindu right in the center of the Sri Chakra. If you see a 3D version of it, what we see usually still has only the Bindu right on top. So Bindu has to be something. No? If it is 3D, why is the Bindu still remaining as a UT dimension? So when they show you a depiction of the Sri Chakra as a three-dimensional thing. You find it in many temples and homes also now. Why does the point, the bindu, not change? So what I am trying to tell you is that that bindu is that Shivalinga. It can be any Shivalinga, but that Shivalinga of the Saptarishis has been given to them by Shiva himself. And that, I don't want to give the spoiler for book 3, that is something physical that he manifests later on.
Yeah. Okay.
So what Vishwa Yonika actually is, we don't know. We know it is a Shivlinga made of dharba grass. No, the first thing you think of dharba is Ganesha. And his journey starts with Ganesh. Because the Muladhara, the deity there, he's the god of beginnings. Starts with Ganesha there. Okay. If you take, look at how much connections are there to this. Because if you look at the divine feminine, the symbol for that is a downward pointing triangle. The divine masculine is an upward pointing triangle. Now, with Shiva and Shakti, you put it together, you get a 6-pointed. What does that yantra represent? That represents Murugan. So you have Shiva, Shakti, you have Dharma, and you have the 6-pointed star. You have the entire family there. So this, how to bring this about, is what's going to come in book 3.
Yeah,
I hope that is not too much of a spoiler.
now we'll have a very strong reason to pick the third book
Yes,
and know
yes. Thank you.
what is there in detail actually.
Yeah.
Sir, you also mentioned that you have grown up listening to the stories that your grandmother told you, and the style of storytelling has been there from generations and it has passed on.
Yeah.
There are days where we still sit and listen to somebody telling us a mythology story. And it has evolved so much that something is added on when the story is being narrated from so many generations. And when you're writing a book in this generation with these modern day techniques, how do you put the modern day techniques to your narrative style? Because the base, the mythology shouldn't be spoiled, but the story should be conveyed.
Correct.
So how is it blended where the modern day techniques is put into the narrative style? At the same time, it sometimes may work when a modern day technique is used to tell a mythology story.
Right.
How do you approach this narrative style?
I think the easiest way to do this is to be true to what the original story is. You remember that Shakuni example that I gave you? And how now that has become a mythology now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now over time, right from the time of Bhasa onwards, there have been retellings. Now Ramcharitmanas is a much revered text. That is a retelling of the Ramayana itself. Goes on a different path altogether. Now over time, depending on the sensibility of the person who's writing it, the spiritual level at which he wants to approach the original story, different versions have come.
Yeah.
You find a whole lot of controversy and fight about which version is correct, which I think is beside the point, because every reader who reads even the Valmiki Ramayana has his own version in his head.
Yeah.
The intention of Valmiki was to connect you to this divinity called Rama. I can write the same Valmiki Ramayana by not wanting you to connect to Rama, but wanting you to connect to Ravan. This is mistold. The hero of this thing, this is supposed to be Ravanayana, not Ramayana. Is it my creative freedom to do so? Yes. Am I being true to the story? No. Okay. The best example I can give you of this is this thing that Karna would have married Draupadi because she told him, I will not marry somebody who's from the Sutta caste, when he was going to win the Swayambara test. Now, there is something called the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute. They have an critical edition of the Mahabharata. So what they did was find manuscripts of the Mahabharata from wherever in the country, collect it, and see which is the earliest version they can come to. Okay? So they look at the dating of the palms, leaves or copper, wherever they found the inscriptions. Look at the language. It takes a whole lot of research. I don't know the exact number, but it's over 2000 manuscripts of the Adi Parva were found. Okay. Now, out of that, I think 2400, 2100, let's just assume it's 2125. Okay. 2110 tell you that Karna failed. 15 tell you that she said, stop, I won't marry you. Those 15 have not made it to the critical edition. But do those 15 exist? They do. Now, if it's your intention that I will take that, I will make this the fulcrum of that entire thing. Make Draupadi the villain here. When you clearly know this is an interpolation that came much later. It speaks to you as a person as which one you will pick. Because you're definitely not looking at the Mahabharata as a Dharma Shastra if you're picking that 15. And there is no way she could have accused him of caste because there were so many Sutta kings in that time period itself. So when I approach something like this, when I look at additions to the story, what have I added? Previous question, the Parashurama Gita out of Bhakti.
Yeah.
Now this is not, doesn't mean that this doesn't have its own danger. Because if you look at the original Valmiki Ramayana, the popular conception we have of Ahalya today is that she was cursed by her husband because of adultery. And she turned into stone. And Rama's foot had to touch that stone for her to come back to life. This is in Ramcharitmanas. Does it elevate Sri Rama? It does. But what does it do to Ahalya? You're suddenly looking at Ahalya in a different light altogether. What is there in the original Valmiki Ramayana? They're passing by Vishwamitra, Rama and Lakshmana. And Rama asks Vishwamitra, this ashrama is so beautiful. Who does it belong to? And despite knowing the story, despite knowing about the adultery, Vishwamitra says this ashrama belongs to one of the greatest Rishikas of all time. Her name is Ahalya, and Rama, you must take her blessing. Now see the difference in the two stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have one person because of some ideology, some crooked creative freedom wants Ravanayana. Other person with bhakti wants to elevate Rama, but the damage is done on both sides. No? So there's a very thin line that you have to. So time will tell if my Parashurama Gita is worth it or not. That I can leave only to time. For me, the additions to the story, if I have to go one by one, what I have said, for it to appeal to the audience who are reading it now. Right in the beginning, I told you one writing rule: start from the end.
Yeah.
As close to the end as possible.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do to your reader is to forget about him while you're writing. You stick to the story. Don't think about what he expects. Because that is not constant. There is no ideal reader and all sitting somewhere around. He responds to how well you have told the story.
Yeah.
And if they are interested in rom-coms and murder mysteries, they are not going to pick mythology. There is a certain kind of person who wants to read stories like this. There is a certain expectation he has. That is completely between him and the output that you have. You have nothing to do in between. Your job as a writer is to stay true to the story. Bring it out as best as you can.
Yeah.
The creative freedom I have taken, I've already told you about the parachute. There has to be something more about it.
Yeah.
Redefine the word Brahma Kshatriya. We are told that it is about the Varna. a Brahmin showing Kshatriya qualities.
Hmm.
To me,
Yeah.
there have been so many who have shown this. Why aren't they called Brahma Kshatriya? Sri Krishna is called Yogeshwara himself. He isn't called Brahma Kshatriya. It's not that he was born in a Brahmin family. Vashishta, so many of our rishis have taken up arms. They've even fought each other using weapons. None of them are called Brahma Kshatriya. There has to be something more than this. So a new definition of Brahma Kshatriya I have given. How Renuka's story, it's not in the Brahmanda Purana. It's from a Sthala Purana. And that entire, see, when he's writing a Samayanal Tantric text later on, the effect of it has to be much earlier. It helped me bridge that gap because his mother is a Mahavidya herself. Since the advantage I have is that now, with all the research I have, I know where Parashurama is heading to or where he's ended up, depending on the knowledge that we have. So I can chart that path now. How I chart that path is my creative freedom. So the timelines have shrunk. Instead of him spending years, 12 years in the Himalayas doing tapasya to Mahadeva, it becomes 21 days. That is the other creative liberty I have taken, because we are told 21 generations of Kshatriyas he killed. But we do not have names. We do not have which kingdom, who these people are. We find names here and there. I do not have enough information to show you that. But I can use a number 21. So maybe I should hold a contest or something. See how many times have I used, where have I used 21? Because I have used 21 in book 1 and book 2 in so many places. Number 20. And sometimes I split it up. Sometimes I don't tell you 21. I tell you maybe, for example, 10 and 11. That 21 is there, but it's not coming as 21 generations of Kshatriyas. That is another creative freedom I've taken.
Yeah.
In today's time, novel is the preferred mode of your reading consumption. We have a 3-act structure that it's passed down to us. The start, what happens in the middle, and the conclusion. You look at any of the stories from India East, we don't have a 3-act structure at all. We don't have a hero's journey. If you say Ramayana is a hero's journey, you are only partially right. Because it's not just about the hero, it is about the whole. We have an ensemble story.
Yeah.
It's everybody story. And we have a frame inside a frame inside a frame. I forget the name. There are these stories where, somebody is asking you a question and the guru is giving you an answer. And the guru says, I will tell you of a story of 2 people. Okay? He starts off that story. In that story, there is a question. Say A and B, 2 people are talking. In that story, A asks a question and B says, I will tell you a story of 2 people. And he tells you a story of C and D. And this goes on.
Yeah.
This cannot be fit in a 3-act structure at all. So it's like a frame network. To take the challenge for us is to take these stories and put it in that 3-act structure without losing the essence of the story. That's the big thing. Plot is there. You know what's going to happen in the story from the Brahmanda Purana. What spiritual insight you can give them and how do you fit that into one of these templates that we have is the crux of the story.
So even before you start to write a book, but before that you have a picture that this is how the book will go.
Yeah.
But are there any chances where in the middle of the book you think of something new or you feel like changing something in your narrative style?
Not narrative style.
Yeah. Or maybe
your job as an author is like, Alice in Wonderland. There are some rabbit holes. Your job is to go down every rabbit hole you find because you never know. Your job is to mix up another children's tale, Hansel and Gretel, leave the breadcrumbs. Otherwise, you don't know how to come back. Okay, so go down, come back up, see what you have.
Yeah.
This I have not changed my narrative style, but when you plot, there are people, there are plotters and there are pantsers. There are two kinds of writers. Plotters are the people who plot right from the beginning to the end. Everything, each chapter, what happens is plotted. Pantsers are people who just leave it. It comes, it doesn't come. So I'm somewhere in between.
In between.
Yeah, so I'm Brahma Kshatriya between these two. Okay, so I know the plot of the story.
Yeah.
And I know what is happening in a chapter. But how exactly I'm going to get there,
Get there.
I have no idea. That comes because I can tell you as a writer that your thinking happens when you write. It is not like a school composition where they give you a subject, it is written on the blackboard, and they tell you think about this and write.
Yeah.
So they always tell you think about it and write. But when you're writing is you have already done your research. You write is when that thinking automatically kicks off there. And when it happens unconsciously to you is when you enter that flow state where you don't, because you are not there anymore. It's direct and it's gone down to your pen and you don't know what is happening. You at the end of it, you go back and read and say, oh, bloody, I didn't want to write this only. How did this come? So getting that is very hard. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, sir, and you were mentioning Brahma Kshatriya and Parashurama being in these two places, like he's a Brahmana and Kshatriya, where the, their, maybe I might say what they're born for or what they're good at. One follows adharma and they never come into the war picture. The other one, his thing is to pick up a sword.
Yeah.
So, and Parashurama stands there and he is defined as a, very humongous Brahmana Kshatriya. How do you define his personality where he has to balance following adharma while he is in the war field?
Correct. So, which is why I had to now you understand why I had to redefine the term Brahma Kshatriya, Kshatriya itself. Because it's not upon your varna of birth, it's upon the guna that you carry that you can do this. The crux of that redefinition is that, okay, now he does this. What is the great thing in you redefining it this way? Because I had to tell you that your inner world and your outer world interact in ways that are much more than what you can imagine. So, a Brahma Kshatriya is a person who can, in the outer world, be battling his enemies, but in the inner world, be in tapasya. So he's doing two things at the same time. And I had to give you a visual aid for you to know when this is happening, which is why the eyeballs go up. This redefinition helped me because now I can explore both worlds. I can take you both places without having to tell you that now he stopped fighting and then went to tapasya, and then I can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
The same Parashurama can be doing two things. Now in book 2 I split it even further and now I've got the shadow there. Now what the shadow is going to do, only book 3 you will find out. So what we don't understand about what we call mythology and we see only fantasy is that a lot of mythology is actually psychology packaged very, very well. These are all archetypes in our minds that we want, that it was coded into us very subconsciously, which is why the stories still hold for us, which is why countries that don't have mythologies, like US, end up having Avengers and Marvel. They need that something. There is no religion that exists without a mythology. You have to have somebody walk on water or somebody fly to the moon or somebody, have 16 arms. You have to have that. Because somewhere down the line, it connects us to something that is so ancient in us that our subconscious makes the connect, not our conscious. And coincidentally, every spiritual way tells you to put the conscious aside and go subconscious. There is something there. As far as I know, a whole lot of the archetypes that Carl Jung has put into his book comes from Eastern mythology itself. And completely unacknowledged. He doesn't give credit for it anywhere. He does a little bit for China, nothing for India. And you still see it today, where they take pranayama and say yogic breathing. Yoga Nidra is NSDR, non-sleep, deep rest. They just take. Credit is not given to you. I can see it on Twitter right now when that Andrew Huberman says this is the breathing protocol, and you have 150 replies to him saying that, this is this pranayama, and he does not acknowledge. Now somebody will come up with a paper somewhere and then they will patent it and go. Unless we follow up with it, which is so important. Why we have to start telling our own stories, not have somebody else tell it for you. Which is a challenge for story writers like me. I've lost the original question. I just went off somewhere. What was it?
No, you're
You're on track, actually.
right on track. Sir, on a personal level question, in the both sequels, there are stories about Shakti, which is the feminine energy, and it is rooted and written really well. Is it because you hail from a place where there is matriarchal, upper hand, and is that any reason it was able for you to put it into words in a better way, or write it in a more depth?
Probably blessings of my Kuldevi there, because my Kuldevi is Bhadrakali. I have grown up worshipping her only. And for us, our Indians, our connect with gods is completely different. No? For us, it is not an old man sitting on one golden throne somewhere. It's different for us. My grandmother had only one, before she died, she had only one request to the goddess. We have a temple in Alapi, and my grandmother used to think the goddess is her elder sister. I mean, she was not senile or anything of the sort. She full capacity of her brain, but that's the connect she had. And her only request was she should be called first, not my grandfather. But my grandfather passed away first. She stopped talking to the goddess. She refused to go. She went to the temple, stood outside and said, I won't come and see you again because you're supposed to be my elder sister and listen to me. Why did you call him? You're not going to find this connect. So we are born with that. That's in our blood. No? So when it is your Bhadrakali is your Kuldevi, you've been worshipping her throughout your life, and you start writing about somebody who's... this is an interesting fact. Good that it came up. There is a particular architecture style that has been started by Parashurama. That means the architecture of how this temple should be built. Now, the legend is that it's got 108 Shiva temples and 108 Shakti temples throughout, from Gokarna to Kanyakumari. But these 13 temples are different. The main deity is Devi. So, in book 2, the temple layout that he sees, that he accesses, is the temple layout that you find in these 13 temples. It's called the Rurujit Vidhana. That's the name of the architecture style. Founded by Parashurama. And any of these temples is so ancient, you walk into their premises, you know you're in some other... that feeling of power that hits you, is absolutely insane. The Devi will be here, it will face in this direction. The Shivalinga will be somewhere else. The Saptamatrikas, Veerabhadra, all come in different directions. That particular architecture style was started by Parashurama. When I talked about, because that's Bhadrakali there usually. Usually it is Bhadrakali who's there. So when I remembered my Kuldevi, I remembered this. Not too many people know that he's done this too. So we are just adding on to what he's done, and I don't know whether we have uncovered everything.
Did you also happen to cover the fact that he's the one who started Kalari? Parashurama.
Yeah, two people started coloring.
Yeah.
That's why I brought Agastya into the picture in this. There's a Parashurama school and there is a Agastya school.
Okay.
So, according to the lore, Parashurama was taught by Mahadeva. I just made it through the axe in the book. And Agastya was taught by Murugan.
Oh, okay.
So it's north and south schools in Kerala. I don't know how it is in coastal Karnataka. It's the same thing. It's where they start and end that differs. So the Parashurama school starts with weapons training first and ends with hand combat last. Agastya is the other way around. Your weapons comes last, hand combat comes first. But it's the same paddhati that they follow.
Okay.
You'll find the 7-step altar, worshipping your Pitrus, Ganesha, Devi, everything is the same. It's only these two things that matter.
Yeah.
I think it's from here that all the rest came out, Silambatam and all that stuff, no? Came from here.
So, in many sections of the book, you have used and mentioned about the tantric modes and also about the feminine energy.
Yeah.
For instance, there is a story of Renuka Devi, as you were saying. It is a very ferocious story.
Yeah.
At the same time, it has its own vast knowledge. So, as a common reader, how would a reader understand the depth of this knowledge when used in some sections of the book?
Okay. See, actually, I have not put too much tantra in the book. I've deliberately stayed away from telling you what the ritual is because all of this is out there. So many websites are carrying the PDF copies of all these books, but merely knowing what it is will not teach you how to do it. And I don't want anybody to be reading this and in some weird manner trying it out and all stuff. It doesn't. The ingredients given there are not complete, not correct. So don't try all this. Okay. So if you actually look at it, I've given you what happens in one ritual. How that ritual happens, I've not told you. Some ingredients and stuff like this. I'm only telling you that this happens. And this is the abuse of power, what it is not meant for. Can you succeed at it? Absolutely. Are you supposed to do it? You're not. Because if you look at the Atharva Veda itself, you're going to find a lot of spells for a lot of things, including some that may seem ethically on the grey area for you. How to make a woman fall in love with you is there. You'll find a yantra for it. How to find a suitable alliance. There are, but if you read the chant, you're saying, oh, what, this is it, huh? What I'm supposed to say this 1 lakh times, there will be something else behind it. What that is, you're not going to know until you're initiated into it by a guru. So if you go read the books, read the chant and you start saying it, nothing is going to happen. So, but I didn't want to take the risk at all. I've given you a small glimpse of a ritual to tell you that this was part of the Veda that was not accepted and people have developed on it. That place that I have named called Mayong actually exists. It is not, it's in Assam. It's not something that, it's not a fictional place. And they are very well known for doing this. And this kind of ritual where you're trying to get control of a person or make him infatuated by another is a thriving business in India even today. There are people who do this. You find a lot of politicians who do this to bring down their enemies. And hyper expensive, a lot of stuff that it's deliberately situated in a cremation ground because that is where a lot of stuff happens. So all this is where I have bought this in. But I have kept it limited because we already have a false notion of what Tantra is. That it is a path to God and all that is common language today, that's Kundalini, the chakra, all comes from that. You don't associate that with Tantra. Some weird ritual and, some erotic stuff is what you associated with today. If I start playing to that, then I'm doing a disservice to it, no? Because it is a spiritual path. It is that statement in the book, how to get to moksha through Maya is what Tantra is. And like I told you, Saptarishi Gautama said, the greatest ashrama is Grihastha, not sannyasa. So it's the Devi telling you to enjoy the Maya that I've given you, but finally pierce the wheel, move through it. When you abuse that freedom given to you, when you don't use it for a higher purpose, but to gain whatever you can here at the expense of anybody else, that shouldn't be encouraged. No? So these are the abuse and the correct use of the same power that is being used. So if I were to write this book from a tantric perspective, it becomes completely different. Because you see the 10 Mahavidyas, there are 10 Mahavidyas. Each of them is associated with a particular Dashavatar. And that list varies from book to book. So if I were to start listing this, the reader is going to get completely confused. The most popular one is saying Krishna is Kali, Kali is Krishna. Now, if that is, each of the Dashavatars is somebody. So who's Parashurama? In some texts it says Chinnamasta. But then in the story, Chinnamasta is Renuka. So how is he his mother and him being a manifestation of the same goddess? In other books it is Lalita Tripurasundari. Now this is the goddess he is praying to. Can he be the avatar of the same goddess? Can. So it gets very confusing depending on which sampradaya, which text you are following. And these things are deliberately kept secret, deliberately misinformation leaked. So I can't with authority say this is it, no? Which is a big thing in Tantra, because they will not let you know. You need a guru, there will have to be an initiation. They deliberately do not let you know this. Probably because of the misuse that it can be subject to. In my book, what I wanted to do was show you how powerful the warlock is. To what extent he can go. And what his aim is in using this. So in the spiritual path, for them is to unite with the Parabrahman. Here he wants to be another version of Parabrahman himself. He's literally showing you that power is, he's abusing the power, not intended for what it's supposed to go.
So to sum up the character of Parashurama, he was not born in Avatar, but he becomes an avatar. And he becomes a Vishnu's avatar who becomes a Chiranjeevi. And he's a Brahma Kshatriya, where he follows Jnana and the war, the Kshatriya Guna, action. So now that we have seen the journey of Parashurama in the first and second book, what can we look forward in the third sequel? And where does this journey of Parashurama, being born as a mortal to become a Chiranjeevi, take him with the quality of being a Brahmana Kshatriya?
See, I think that the term has been used exclusively to him. My thinking is that we are told that in Kali a lot of knowledge is lost. And it gets, next Satyuga is when the knowledge comes out again. So if you use a Brahma Kshatriya, is a person who knows knowledge of the Shastra as well as the Shastra. Kalki will need somebody like that. No? If Parashurama is going to be the guru of the 10th, he will need somebody, because we are losing knowledge by time. Here is a repository of knowledge. There's one thing about Parashurama that ties into this. He has a photographic memory. This is literally told to you. He needs to read something once and he remembers it for lifetime. Now tie that into this. So this is a guy who will remember everything that he's read. He has knowledge of all the Shastras. Now his Shishya is going to need it. And there is no better man than him. Look at all the other Chiranjeevis, they can't do this. No? Vedavyasa can maybe give you the Gyan. Hanuman cannot transfer that strength to you, but he can teach you to fight. Here's a guy who can give you both. So his end goal in this yuga is making Kalki an avatar. He is going to make Kalki realize his avatarhood. Parashurama definitely becomes an avatar because there's nothing like the tales of Krishna which tells you he was an avatar only from birth. There's nothing like that in Parashurama's story that tells you, which I enjoy as a writer because then I can show you that entire journey into becoming, moving from Ramabhadra to Parashurama, I can show you. So,
as you were saying, that's the relevance he has in this present yuga.
yeah, relevance, I can tell you so much because what would you do if he was here? We face so many problems as a civilization today. Is he somebody who's going to be saying Aman ki Asha, and you would have thrashed them, no, right, left, and center by now. Probably that's what we need to learn from him, because he would have taught you to set up boundaries. He would have taught you to tell people where they stop. This is the consequences you face when you do not listen to what I tell you. And I will be there. And look at the situation where we are faced today. We point a lot of fingers at Abrahamic faiths, but we refuse to learn from them. There are so many good things that we can learn from them. If there is a problem, you will find their religious institution standing with them. You will find the pastor, you will find the Maulana with his community. Completely brilliant thing to do. Do we have anybody like that? We don't. We fight our own battles. We get a lot of knowledge for individual spiritual development. As a collective, when you're facing a civilizational war, where are you? You unite for all the secular, non-confrontational causes. Save rivers, plant trees, save the soil, aid, everything. When there is a confrontation, where are you? If we need a guru like Parashurama today, because he would have been there. He would have stood shoulder to shoulder with you. He would have taken the lead. He would have fought even if you are not standing behind him. Do we have somebody like Parashuram today? What we need today are gurus like Parashuram, and we don't find them. It's okay to worship Rama and Krishna. Are you imbibing their qualities? Everybody is now talking of Krishna as strategist, diplomat. Very safe to do all this, no? You fight, he fought 17 times. When it comes to a fight, you don't find. After the fight, aid, charity. I'm not saying it's bad. Thank you for doing it. But when it is happening, when your people, your followers want you, where are you? It's hardly anyone. Learn from the other faiths. They will use every point of influence they have, the money in their thing, their spiritual power itself, to stand with them. No, you may disagree with the means, the ends for which they are standing. Different matter. I'm talking of that they are standing with them. Parashurama is very relevant to our times.
Yes.
Because we need somebody who can measure up to that standard he set. Think of it as a story. I mean, leave the divinity and the supernatural out. To the standard he set, we need somebody. No? Why do we not find it? How, as a question we have to ask ourselves, as a civilization, as a culture, why are we not able to produce somebody like that? So before we point fingers at other faiths, a lot of questions that we need to answer ourselves. And we are not finding answers. We are not asking those questions because the answers may not be to our liking.
And as you say, it's a wonderful thought to think about, and rather than just keep thinking, we have to put something into action and start doing it.
Yeah.
I might it might be able to sum up the 2 books you have written and ask you questions, but I think I cannot sum up this interview that I had with you just now. I would want to interview again after some days, after you give us some more books.
Sure.
It was a wonderful session talking to you, sir. And I must say, there was so much to take from this and so much thought that you have put into me right now.
Thank you.
I will have something to think about and something to be, as we are ending this thing, something I can think and then put into action and then think about it.
Okay.
What did I just do? What am I doing? What am I not doing? Everything. The books you have written, you have got a great response. And now that as readers, we are looking forward for the third sequel. Not just the third sequel, the any book you write after that as well. Thank you so much for your time, sir, and the knowledge that you shared with us. It means a lot, and I would wish all the very best from our team, Maadhyama Aneka, for all your future writings. Just you should know that you might not be thinking about the reader when you're writing, but as readers, we are thinking about the author.
Thank you so much. But first, I need a round of applause for you because you started this podcast with a line from my book. And you ended this podcast with hearing what every author wants to hear. Okay, so thank you
Thank you, sir.
to all of you for having me here today. It was lovely. My jaw is aching with the amount of talking I have done with the questions you asked.
But we aren't tired by listening to you.
That's because I took the breaks. But fantastic. The questions were really good, really nice, and I could feel that somebody has done a lot of research. It's usually the questions come off the cuff, but the last few podcasts that I've been going to, really good research, really good questions. So I'm really happy answering this, and hopefully I'm back sometime.
Yes, sir.
For more questions.
Definitely.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.